Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seat. The show is about to begin.
Presented by Front Yard Fantasy. I'm your host, Simon. Joined as always by my wildly handsome co-host, John Luke Garofalo. Our friend Coop with us, aka Coop A. Fiasco. What's up, everyone? Welcome into the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Super Bowl Eve, February 10th, 2023. I'm your host, Simon, joined as always by my co-hosts, John Luke Garofalo and Andrew Cooper. What's up, boys?
Okay, what's up, boys?
What's up? How do you usually celebrate Super Bowl Eve? I know everybody has different traditions.
Yeah, well, of course. First, you take your most prized jersey, your favorite one.
You put it on your grandma.
You put it on your grandma. While she's wearing it, you turn on the song, Do You Believe in Magic? You know that one? Do you believe in
magic in your grandma's?
And now what you have to do is you have to get your grandma to dance during this song. Preferably something like outdated, like that would not be relevant, culturally relevant 60 years ago. Now, whenever she does this, she will start de-aging in the process. You're going to let her get all the way back to like 6 or 7 years old, at which point you're going to abruptly switch the song to We Are the Champions. She will immediately go back to her full age, be a little bit sad and confused about it, but now your desired outcome for the Super Bowl is guaranteed.
Wow, dude. So you pretty much need to Benjamin Button your grandma and then just like rip that away. And then that's how you lock it in. 100%.
Does she stay Benjamin buttoned? Or is it like a temporary? Is it temporary?
Did you not listen? We Are the Champions immediately un-Benjamin Buttons her.
Oh, okay.
So
Dang.
which jersey you
so caught in the song?
Which jersey you guys putting on your grandma tonight?
Oh, Chiefs, baby. Let's go.
Woo! What about you, Simon?
Eagles.
Grandma fight?
Grandma fight.
Can you guys guess which jerseys these are?
Tom Brady.
Eagles.
That's great.
Tom Brady, Eagles. Green Tom Brady.
It's a Tom Brady
Reebok.
Eagles jersey. That's
I knew it.
Wow, Jill, you have not been wrong yet.
Yes.
You
Take that, Grandma.
What'd you guess? Eagles, Reebok. Of course, the chat undefeated. Tommy in the chat gets it. Randall Cunningham.
Nice.
There you go. Good job, Tommy.
Lucky guess, Tommy.
This one's a little more difficult.
Eric Berry.
Oh, he nailed it. Eric Berry
from
Tennessee.
I cheated.
How'd you cheat?
Because Tony knew that one.
Did Tony know that one?
Yeah, Tony. Shout out Tony for getting that
Hot
one right.
Pasta.
I just stole that one from producer Hot Pasta himself.
Hot
Gondola, baby.
He says gondola. Gondola. All right, dude. Well, at least the producers in the chat are here today. Good morning, Simon and JL as well. I'm sure you guys will show up eventually as well.
If me showing up is me identifying a retired NFL player based off the number on a jersey, I will never be here. I don't even know. I don't even know current players' numbers. It is a complete knowledge gap for me. Is numbers on jerseys. I at one point decided unnecessary, and my brain has filed all information as such since then.
That's why we got to get the memory athlete Donnie in here to show you how it's done, man. He can get you whipped into shape, I bet.
I hope so. We got some people in the chat ready for today's show. Craig in here saying, "Ahoy, mateys!
Oh, hey,
permission to board the good ship. FYF
hey, permission granted.
Aye, bring your booty.
Bring your booty.
Bring your juicy booty
and your parrot too.
Get on your ass.
Get on that. Get your ass on that poop deck.
I gotta find me some treasure."
We got Tommy in the chat as well. Get in the game. He's got a poem, a rhyme for us bright and early this morning.
Hell
The best and brightest were on display to rack up awards and celebrate the day. To NFL players, success has a gauge, but the world blew up when DeMar took the stage. Be all you can, whatever it may be, and remember life's lessons from the Bills number 3. That was pretty sweet to see DeMar Hamlin get up there yesterday.
He could have wrapped that up perfectly if he finished up with, and remember life's lessons from the birds and the bees. Dang it.
After the whole thing was about. You're right.
It would have
Joe.
rhymed.
That
so
would have been
much
the
better.
perfect ending to that.
Dang.
Next time.
Well, Tommy,
We
in
love
case
the
you were
Bills
looking
and
for
Braves.
creative notes, Jail's got you today, this morning.
Just email me.
Bees is generally more bees and more birds. Is
Yes.
Jail's. You say that about everything, though.
I'm afraid of both of those things.
Like we finished watching what was that movie about the robot lady? Deuce Machina.
AI.
Ex Deuce Machina. Electric Boogaloo.
Deuce Machina 2, Electric Boogaloo.
We watched Deuce Machina 2, Electric Boogaloo, and the movie ended and Jail immediately said, that was a great movie, but needs more bees.
Needs more bees.
Needs more bees.
Could use some more
How
bees.
are you connecting Ex Machina to bees?
I was trying to think of the movie that would least likely need more bees. Like, I feel like that movie really doesn't need any more bees. Like, it's got the perfect amount of bees. I think zero. Not gonna bet my
None.
life on it. Maybe there's a bee.
Have you seen that
somewhere.
movie, Simon?
I watched it with you at
We
your
watched
house.
it?
Yeah.
You've been to my house?
I've been to your house. Well, I guess you did. I watched it with you. You didn't know you were watching it with me.
Oh, I see.
But I was
prank.
there.
Great prank. Yeah,
Great.
you snuck in his room while he was sleeping and watched it.
Yeah, I laid under his bed and watched a movie while he watched it.
Just like kicking your
So-
little feet out.
His legs are sticking out from under my bed. You could just see him.
Rosie keeps barking under the bed, but you're like, stop it. Stop it.
She would never bark at you.
Guys, it is that time of morning. We're ready to get into some BYOB. I hope you brought something to eat,
BYOB.
a little snack, a little breakfast, maybe some beans, because we got everything else, the topics, the news stories, and everything else you can need bright and early this morning. Coop, you bring anything to munch on this Friday?
Yeah, I got some stuff to talk about, but Tommy brought up the NFL awards. Why don't we take a little peek, see at those, see what our thoughts are.
Yeah.
As Tommy pointed out, Damar Hamlin came out on stage with all the medical professionals that were there that day that helped him out. It was a great moment. I got to ask you guys, what do you guys think that Damar Hamlin's body double does on his days off when he's not up there pretending to be Damar Hamlin?
The rabbit hole I went down of these Damar Hamlin conspiracy theorists was just way too high. And I hate that my first thought when I saw him on stage last night was like, suck it, conspiracy theorists, and not like just pure joy for him. You know what I mean? That was the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh emotion. Like everyone after that. But my first thought was like, man, I'm so glad those people can finally shut up.
Yeah.
And just talk about this story. Just talk about what Damar Hamlin's done.
They won't shut up, dude. They're all over my timeline right now because I said something about it the other day. And they got big enough numbers out there that they came in and ratioed my tweet where I was like, basically like, oh, Damar Hamlin's alive. And they were like, no.
Eyes going different directions.
Right? And I'm just like, why do you not want him to be okay? And they're just like, well, we do, but I'm just like, okay, all right, everybody, settle down. Enough internet for you for one day.
No, but Tommy here saying I teared up, man, for real. That was a really cool moment that they were able to have on stage there. And I feel like that was something that every single NFL fan watched and experienced. You know what I mean? Like it was an island game. We all felt it. Arguably the most important game of the season. And then it was just a stop put on football, and truly nobody cared about football for a minute there. And then to be able to see him come out there, not even a couple months later, pretty special.
Yeah. This game often brings up those conversations where it's, a lot of times people forget that players are humans. Everyone involved in this game are also humans. So it's cool to see that for sure. I agree with you, Simon.
As far as the winners of some of these awards, MVP was not very close this year, but we did not have a unanimous MVP. 1 vote to Josh Allen, 1 vote to Jalen Hurts, 48 votes to Patrick Mahomes, and he is your NFL MVP for the 2022 season. As expected, right? But he's killing it.
Good player. I mean, it made it a lot easier that Jalen Hurts missed a couple games, right? Like if Jalen Hurts didn't get hurt, I think we would have had a much more difficult discussion, right?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think it goes to show that Patrick Mahomes we talk about him very glowingly on the show. And it's nice to see that him have this type of season after stumbling last season. A lot of people were counting him out.
And stumbling. Know what I mean? He didn't have the gaudy numbers that he usually has.
Or a
they
small
changed,
streak.
Right. They changed their offensive strategy to adjust to a change in NFL defenses, and it was working.
It's so crazy how like the NFL were like he struggled, right? People are like the Bengals can't get it done. I'm like, Bengals came in like second and fourth the last 2 years. You know what I mean? Like the Bengals are fine. Right? Like the Bengals are a great football team. People are like they just can't get it done. I'm like,
you know who can't get it done? The Browns, the Texans.
That's what I'm saying.
Jets,
like,
the Lions, how the Packers this year. Like the Bengals are good, man.
The Lions had a season where they did not win a single game. You know what I mean? Like the Bengals right now, you got to be pretty happy if you're a Bengals fan. I mean, I know they didn't win the Super Bowl, but they're finishing top 5 back-to-back years. They got pretty much everybody coming back. Like it's okay. You guys will be fine. The Bills, you guys will be fine. So it's only one year.
You're not going to be fine. Panic now.
Run.
I know you had fun with Tom Brady the past couple years, but poof, you are in trouble, Buccaneers.
That's the other take, honestly. So I know you're messing around, but that's the other one where people like the Rams, they mortgage the future. I'm like, dude, they won the Super Bowl and they had a huge parade and everybody got giant rings with, like 150 diamonds in them. You know what I mean? Like, it's fine if they lose.
And that lady fell.
Like,
how'd you know that's what I was thinking about? Every time the Rams Super Bowl is mentioned, all I can think about is that lady falling off the bus and then the entire story that ensued afterwards. It was nuts.
But they got a parade.
So yeah, they made sacrifices, right? Lady fell, the guy.
The lady off a bus.
That's all I'm saying. They made sacrifices. Yeah, okay.
Some more than others.
The Lions have their pick this year.
Stafford.
Yeah, some more than others. The Lions have their pick this year, but they have plenty of picks coming up. The team's gonna be fine. And guess what? They won. Only one team gets to win each year. Mortgage the future. Trade the picks. Sell the farm. I don't care. Get that ring, baby.
Make sure you win one while you do it, so that you're not in that situation without a Super Bowl ring.
Like my dynasty teams. We've mortgaged the future, and now we're just kind of and we didn't win, and now we're just a ghost ship sailing into the night. But that doesn't
just waving goodbye, not trading anyone.
It's like Adam Thielen with like half a mouthful of water. You know what I mean? Those are my teams, but that's all right. Like we tried. You got to give yourself a shot, right? You got to try and get on that duck boat, right? It worked for the Rams. Some teams are just perpetually like winning 8-9 games and doing a whole lot of nothing. So go for it. Go in. Get your Patrick Mahomes or Jalen Hurts. Don't just sit there with like Ryan Tannehill. Sorry, Ryan Tannehill. But
that was nice of you. Squirrel Bob in here with an Eagles chant to start us off and say, good morning. What's up, Squirrel Bob?
What up, Bob?
Squirrel Bob, dude. Something special. I'm such a curmudgeon that like it is so special to be in the Super Bowl. And the other day I tweeted like, I'd rather have a full slate of red zone than watch the Super Bowl. But if my team was in the Super Bowl, I would just be like, doing cartwheels, running around.
It's like a pouty Patriots fan in the corner. Like, give me 9 games at a time if I don't get to watch Tom play in the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl is it's not even cool.
Basically the Pro Bowl.
What's the Super Bowl without Tom? No Tom.
Right.
Craig in here saying BYOB today apparently stands for birds, yaks, orangutans, and bees.
What was that?
Orangutans and bees.
Orangutans and bees.
Big orangutan fan. I think they're very cool animals. So I'm fine making that O stand for orangutan.
I like it.
Did the Bucks push someone off a bus too, and that's how they won? Is that what you were implying, Coop?
Bucks push, yeah. Well, I mean, obviously you have to sacrifice a female reporter if you want to win the big game. So okay. You could do it before or after, but you have to get it done.
Yeah, if it's not done shortly after by the parade, that's like your final chance to do it.
Yes,
makes sense.
We should probably have checked in to see how she's doing before.
I followed the story fairly closely afterwards, so she is okay. But there was Matthew Stafford was made public enemy at number 1 after it happened, right? Like Matthew Stafford was made public enemy number 1 because he just saw it, made like a shocked face, and turned around and walked away. Didn't do a single thing. So everyone's jumping down his throat. And in the middle of all of this, while she's recovering, Matthew Stafford offered to pay for all of her medical bills, like got everything covered. And so she was in the hospital recovering. And all like this public outrage directed towards him. All of a sudden, somebody goes through her Twitter and her Facebook and finds these like racist tweets and stuff from the past, and then starts blasting this girl who's in the hospital recovering from falling off the bus with these tweets from her past. And now public sentiment switches, and now they're mad at Matthew Stafford for paying for her hospital bills because they found the tweets from the past. She's okay. She got her bills paid for and is recovering. But the story around it just didn't die. It just kept going. The drama kept getting like revamped up every day or so.
God, I love drama.
Me too.
I love football drama. My favorite part about football drama is pretending I don't like it. Like I'm like, Kayvon Thibodeau, what a jerk. But meanwhile, I'm like looking around. I'm like, what did he say this time?
Creating burners just to try and instigate.
I don't know who you are. I'm trying to get one.
53 says
that's
you're a punk, Thibodeau.
that's when you know you've made it. I could you just buy an $8 check mark and probably do that and get away with it. That's when you know you've made it. Nowadays is when Kayvon Thibodeau says he doesn't know who you are. That's when you know you're big time.
Yeah, if you ask him about me, he'd be like, "Oh yeah, love that guy."
Yeah, great too.
Some more players who won the awards at the NFL honors last night. Justin Jefferson, Offensive Player of the Year. Nick Bosa came out as Defensive Player of the Year. An Offensive Rookie of the Year, as expected, Garrett Wilson took the award home. I know there was some late push for Brock Purdy to get it, but Garrett Wilson's going to take that award home. Sauce Gardner, Defensive Rookie of the Year. So the Jets with the Offensive and Defensive Rookie of the Year on their team. That's a pretty good draft.
That is a pretty good draft, Simon. I didn't even like really connect that until you just said it.
Keith sitting there like, ooh, Keith having
my.
Got the best paper team in
pasta.
Hot pasta. I got the best paper team in all of football. The paper champions.
Me and Paper Mario.
But dude, the crazy thing is like Mekhi Becton, if he can come around, he's been kind of like, you know, the size is there, the talent's there. He's been kind of on the fence as to whether he's going to be a great player, but he's a first round pick. Like they have their offensive line. Mekhi Becton could be good. Elijah Vera Tucker, awesome. George Fant, awesome. They went out and got Laken Tomlinson at guard. Like their offensive line, it's pretty sweet. Then now they got these wide receivers. If Elijah Moore could figure it out, Corey Davis, you know, not a bad split end. They went and got 2 tight ends. They got Breece Hall. They got Garrett Wilson, Rookie of the Year. Like, dude, this team is ready, man. If they could just get a quarterback, they could be ready to compete right away.
They got Zach Wilson.
They got Zach Wilson.
He just needs to grow some armpit hair.
I don't know. Could be a couple.
How's he going to do that?
Well, puberty for one, I think.
Where's he going to get that?
Round 2. At the store, you walk up to the Macy's.
That's where they sell the puberty?
Yeah, at Macy's. That's why you never found it. You're not a big Macy's guy.
Checks out.
Checks out.
So who else won?
We had 2 more awards. The Comeback Player of the Year, Geno Smith, I think as expected and deserved. And then Coach of the Year. This one was contentious is the wrong word because I don't think there was any vitriol, but there was a lot of debate about who would take this one home. But ended up being Brian Daboll of the New York Giants, taking them to the playoffs in a season where I looked at my preseason predictions yesterday where I had them predicted to win 3 games. And I know I was not alone in that assessment of the Giants this offseason. Not only did they make it to the playoffs, they pulled off a playoff win, and he's going to earn Daniel Jones $35 million this offseason. I think it's deserved. Coach of the Year for Daboll.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about, remember like halfway through the season, we're sitting there like the Giants feel like this is going to all come falling down. They didn't. They kept it going.
Yeah, and it was the Vegas kept disrespecting them too. Like if you were betting on the Giants this year, you probably made a good amount of money. Just kind of because they every week they were like, this team's not real, and then they would win these games. So good for them. And I think the most impressive part is that it was basically the same roster they had last year, right? Like, and they traded away Kadarius Toney. This guy just came in and proved that coaching matters, right? And the other candidates that were in it, for me personally, I thought that the other options were Doug Peterson, right? where he kind of picked up the scraps of Urban Meyer, turned that team completely around, made the playoffs. And then Dan Campbell. Everybody likes Dan Campbell, though. I think the difference maker is that the Giants made the playoffs and the Lions didn't. So Dan Campbell is a guy
What
that
about the Jaguars?
Jaguars did make it, but they have a better roster, I think.
A better roster than the Giants.
I think they just have.
I agree with that.
So Urban Meyer, like we can make fun of him all we want, but he's not wrong. They did go out in free agency and spend a bunch of money, right? Like the top guys there, the top pass catchers, all three of them weren't on the team last year. Like Urban Meyer didn't have Christian Kirk, he didn't have Zay Jones, he didn't have Evan Ingram,
and that's why he groped college girls at a bar.
Got him. He's like just grabbing her. He wasn't actually like. He wasn't molesting her. He was checking her pockets to see if there was like an Evan Ingram in there. And then, do you have any wide receivers in there for me? So I guess he does make a point, although obviously he was a terrible coach. So.
I don't know. I think I'm on the side of Doug Peterson here over Brian Daboll, and the reason I think comes down to I don't know that like a better roster is a good tiebreaker here to go into the playoffs, because I think it does take skill to build a talented roster.
Right, but for both of these are first-year coaches as well, right? So they didn't have as much say in building this entire roster. Maybe added pieces here at the end. I'm more with Coop on this one. We're like, whenever I look at those two teams and which feat was more impressive, what Brian Daboll did with that Giants team to me, I know most of that came down to coaching. Like 100%. Everything's the same, and they made the playoffs and won a game. Now, Doug Peterson, I think he's a great coach based on what we saw in Jacksonville this year, but I'm with Coop. The roster is the tiebreaker for me because he did more with less, and I'm more confident that it was coaching on his part.
Yeah, well, and Jill, the other part of that is that, the building of the roster isn't necessarily – it's only the coach's job on certain teams, right? And, from that standpoint, guess who won Executive of the Year?
Who's that?
Not the Jaguars executive. It was the Eagles. It was Howie Roseman. But it could have easily – it would have been better for my point if it was the guy you were talking about.
But Jail's been hyping up the Eagles as an organization and the decisions they've made for like the past couple of years.
So basically, JL predicted Executive of the Year.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
The best. Howie Roseman, he's gotten some guff over the past few years. People were talking trash on him. I distinctly remember them being very upset about the Jalen Hurts pick, Eagles fans.
I bet.
Maybe time for a quick I'm sorry on that front, right? Like they won the Super Bowl. They just gave Carson Wentz a big extension, and then this guy's picking Jalen Hurts. What's he thinking? Apparently he was he had the that was level 9 thinking, folks.
Highest level
military thinking.
And Squirrel Bob is saying it was more the Jalen Reagor over Jefferson for me, is what he didn't like about Howie Roseman.
Well, you were right about that. You were absolutely right about that. And if you want to climb up the light poles of Philly and scream into the void about that, you can keep doing that, because Jalen Reagor does not look like he's going to be that awesome. Now, they gave away a bunch of other crazy awards. I know we just hit the big ones. Did you guys want to talk about some of these other weird ones?
We can hit them rapid fire.
Yeah.
Pause if we got anything we need to speak on.
Yeah. So we did the AP. You hit the Defensive Player of the Year, Walter Payton Man of the Year, Dak Prescott. Any objections?
No objections.
No objections here.
Your Honor.
FedEx Air and Ground Players of the Year. Joe Burrow was the Air Player of the Year. Josh Jacobs, the Ground Player. Any objections? UPS?
What does FedEx have to do with it?
Yeah, I was going to say just the FedEx, but not to the players winning.
Fair.
Is this like a Pro Bowl game? Like they have to deliver packages for FedEx?
Yes. And Josh Jacobs, he carried the packages.
Excellent.
He carried the packages this year, right? Like that dude.
Double fisted it. Very impressive.
What do you have? 300 touches? Like nobody carried the packages more than that guy. The Salute to Service Award presented by USAA. I don't know what that means. Ron Rivera, Commanders head coach. The Bud Light Selly of the Year Award, Simon.
Devonta Smith. They can't give it to him for that one.
The Bengals roller coaster celebration, week 18. I'm not sure if I even remember that one.
They have to, they can't give it to an actually good one. You know what I mean? Like, they have to give it to one that can't be fined or anything like that. Like, they can't fine someone $20,000 and then give them the award for best celebration, right? Like, they're not.
I think that's true. They couldn't. Yeah, that would be awesome. Because the funny thing is someone did say that Alexander Madison was like was basically like they were playing my celebration all over all over the commercials, and they were putting it on the Twitter. And then when my game check showed up, there was just money already taken out of it. That's what Alexander Madison said. So yeah.
Wow.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I don't
point.
remember the Bengals one. So Keith or Hot Pasta, if you have a Dr. Keith Meister or Hot Pasta, I believe is what we're calling them these days. If you guys can pull that one up, that would be cool. NFL Fan of the Year presented by Captain Morgan. That's Larry Bevins from the Seahawks.
No way, Larry.
It should have been Squirrel Bob from
Larry Bevins.
Yeah, Larry Bevins.
Oh, Larry.
I bet he does some crazy stuff. The Deacon Jones Sack Leader Award. Do you guys remember who led the league in sacks?
Yes. Oh, yes. It wasn't Fletcher Cox. Was it Bosa?
It was Bosa. It's such a smart move, Dale, just to say Bosa and without saying which one.
Yeah, it's just Bosa.
Which one?
Nick.
It was Nick Bosa. Good job.
The Defensive Player of the Year.
Jim.
Yeah. The AP Assistant Coach of the Year. He actually, let's see if you guys can guess this. He just took a full-time head coaching job.
D'Amico Ryans.
That's what I was gonna say. You
JL said it first.
Your brain was just faster.
Your brain is just. My brain don't know how to be so smart as yours.
Too early. Brain don't work.
The Art Rooney Sportsmanship Award. If you guys could guess this, it would boggle my mind.
Kayvon Thibodeau.
Jamal Williams.
Oh, Kayvon Thibodeau. That'd be awesome. It was Clay Campbell.
Oh, damn.
The Angry Run of the Year Award is an award.
Angry run of the year. I'm trying to think of a singular run that was very angry. I feel like Dameon Pierce took every step he's ever taken in the NFL with all the anger that's ever existed.
That feeling, is right.
Dameon
Pierce with the angry run. He probably could have got like 8 of the top 10 the way he was running this year.
Dude.
Jim Brown Rushing Award for the rushing leader. You boys know who that is?
Jacobs.
Jacobs. And then the most prestigious award of the evening, the Head and Shoulders Never Not Working Protection Play of the Year. Given to apparently the guy who best blocked on the pass play.
Oh, so it has nothing to do with hair?
I don't think so. I think it's a Head and Shoulders ad that they paid.
Oh.
Darius Slay.
That's a terrible name for an award. Head and Shoulders Never Not Working Protection Play of the Year.
I said it was for a. I said it was
12
for
years.
I said it was for a protection pass protection on a pass play, and Simon goes Darius Slay.
I was thinking protection on the other side.
That honestly, that would be a good pick. Yeah, you take a guess.
Darius Slay.
Oh, dude, that's it. You guys got it. Actually, it was Darius Slayton. You forgot the ton.
It was a wide receiver. That makes the most sense. It was an offensive lineman.
It wasn't an offensive lineman. It was here. I'll give you a big hint. It was one of the most fun players in the league.
Christian Wilkins.
He's pretty fun.
He is one of the most fun.
Maybe a little more fun. A little more outwardly fun.
Jamal Williams.
Oh, maybe a little less fun, but still very fun.
Okay, Jill. I've named 2 levels of fun. Made a little fun sandwich. You put the meat in there.
He's more towards Jamal Williams.
Kyler Murray.
No, not quite. It's George Kittle. George Kittle being one of the most fun. So that's it. That wraps it up for our awards.
In order to be on the fun scale, I think you have to do it on purpose. And I feel like George Kittle's more on like the chaos scale. You know what I mean? Like all of his behaviors. I don't know if he's in fact fun or if he just like can't help what he's doing. You know what I mean? Like if he just like acts all the time. Like George Kittle is just like, it's just chaos energy leaking out of him.
That's hilarious.
He is the best.
He is. Did you guys see this quote from Sean Payton about Josh Jacobs?
I did not.
No, listen to this. Josh Jacobs was always consistently playing well, and so I'm glad he's a free agent. I encourage everyone to look at him. Maybe we look at him. What?
Dude, that's wild, bro.
I think this is on Up and Adams.
I don't think that's not even that. It's not crazy for a coach. I mean, dude, that is actually crazy for a coach to say that. Coaches don't say that, right? They don't. How often do coaches say, "I want this free agent"? Never, right?
No.
And not to mention, like the dynasty community, up in arms if they.
That's what I was going.
They're gonna lose their minds if they see that.
That's hilarious. That's absolutely hilarious. Just from
we look at
the
him.
like the Javonte Williams dynasty aspect. People that like have been waiting and waiting. I traded for him pretty heavily in a league where I had some bad injury luck this year. So that would not be great for me if Josh Jacobs goes over there, but it's funny. It's funny. It's a game. We think we know everything. We think we can make all these decisions. Like Javonte Williams, it couldn't be better situation-wise for him. And then Sean Payton can come in here and like just throw a little water on that.
By the way, I'm like now I'm like watching a little bit of this clip. Josh Jacobs is on the show with him. So that might change this like the narrative of this conversation, like how he said it.
Yeah, it was more him talking to Jacobs then. Know what I mean? That was like Sean Payton giving Jacobs his props.
But it's actually really fun. Like if you haven't, go watch this clip because Sean Payton looks like he just came in from mowing the lawn on Saturday. He's got his jeans on, his t-shirt is open, just like button up over the t-shirt move.
Is it Kevin James pretending to be Sean Payton? Does he hire him as a
He's
stand-in?
got white New Balances on.
It honestly might be. He really does look like he looks like he's literally wearing like that outfit is the outfit like your wife would be like, will you get cleaned up? Like we have to go out.
We have friends going over. You're like, I gotta change.
Like you're wearing that? Like he really is.
What's
wearing,
wrong with
like,
this?
the dad sneakers. It's like a jail. You're right. The colors too. Like it's like the shirt. It's like that exact like
no coordination, just like 3 shades of blue.
The like been washed too many times used to be green shirt. And like
it's now kind of brown turquoise.
And like a sweatshirt, a zip up sweatshirt that is like not quite blue and not quite purple.
Everything is pilly.
What is he? He's got a little thing. The zippers haven't worked in years. There's no question. I mean, like, what is he doing? Did he not know?
Everybody has a pair of those pilly sweatpants though that just feel so good. They're so. I've got the world's pilliest black sweatpants that I will never give away. They're so soft.
Well, yeah, you gotta have those. Yeah, I don't know, man. That would be terrible. Did you guys see what Josh Jacobs said himself? I don't know I think it was before the show, or it might have been yesterday actually, where he basically came out and was like, "Look, I'm not opposed to returning to the Raiders, not opposed to returning on the franchise tag if they load up around me with weapons." And he's like, I'm also willing to be the hero again if you pay me like I'm the hero. So honestly, pretty well calculated comments, and I don't mind what he said. What do you guys take from that?
That is well calculated was a great way to put it, Coop, because I feel like we don't often hear players talk about the way they're going to be used on that team whenever it comes to like what they should get paid, right? It's just, this is what I'm worth. This is what you're going to pay me. I think that's a cool way for Josh Jacobs to talk about it. Like, I'd love to come back if you load up on weapons. You know what I mean? I can not have to touch the ball 300 times, be on a winning team, or I'm more than willing to do that, but pay me to do it. Pay me like you would pay someone else who's coming in here as well to take some of those touches.
He absolutely proved himself this year, right? And I think that Josh Jacobs is going into this offseason, going into this contract negotiation in probably the best position he could have put himself in. So I feel like he is, no one can really disrespect him for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. A number of these teams kind of whiffed on their 5th-year options, huh?
Yeah.
The Raiders did not pick his up.
Daniel Jones
didn't get picked up. That's going to
Rashad
be
Penny.
Expensive mistakes.
Royce Freeman.
Royce to 5'9". Where's he at these days?
I don't know. The Texans.
Texans, I think. Yeah.
That's where all the running backs you forgot about go to the Texans.
He's on
Phillip
the
Lindsay.
Texans.
Rex Burkhead.
Joe, for $1 million, what college did Royce Freeman play at?
$1 million.
Royce Freeman played at Southern Liberty.
Oh my God, you got it. If the name was entirely different. Coop, do you have a guess?
Was it
Northern Liberty?
Was it
Eastern?
Was it Eastern? was it Eastern Tech State of Ohio?
Royce Freeman.
Almost. I think he transferred from there, and I think he was originally committed to Southern Liberty, but he ended up at Oregon, University of Oregon, is where Royce Freeman was.
Yeah.
Really? I did not remember he went to Oregon. Are you sure? I'm gonna trust my memory, which
Yeah, I'm sure.
is
It wasn't-
absolutely not trustable.
It wasn't
one bit.
Eastern Tech State, Miami of Ohio, A&M.
Love that school.
Again, he did start there, so great memory pulling that one up, but he transferred after a year. That was his JUCO before he transferred.
Or everyone just refers to them as the Aggies.
Of course.
How many teams are just like the Aggies? Because they're an agricultural.
All of them. We're all Aggies.
We're all Aggies on this blessed day.
Deep down, right in here.
I saw a quote from another Niner yesterday. They just keep on coming. They can't stop. Deebo Samuel told Adam Sheen that the Niners would have beaten the Eagles by double digits if Brock Purdy didn't get hurt.
Who
They
said
just
that?
keep on
Well-
talking. Deebo Samuel.
That's great.
Damn.
I would love to sit here and discuss what would or would not have happened if certain things did or did not happen either, Debo.
We've got the Brandon Ayuk salty ass quotes, and then Deebo comes out here with this one, and then Robbie Gould had one himself. His was probably the worst. Did you see his?
No, I would have kicked them in the butt.
He said, so you get in a game where they're down. Obviously, if Kansas City gets up on them early, it might take them a little bit out of their game. Their run plan, which I assume they're going to try to get going first to get Jalen Hurts going. And then this is where it gets bad. But if you make Jalen Hurts play quarterback, you're going to have a pretty solid day on defense, is what Robbie Gould said about Jalen Hurts, the quarterback playing in the Super Bowl right now, leading this Eagles team to one of their best seasons in recent memory.
That's when you hit him with the Thibodeau. Who are you?
I don't even know who you are.
I don't even know who you are, dude.
Robbie Gould? Never
Turn
heard of him.
around. That's the my favorite was the Arian Foster. Turn around. And the guy's like, why? He's like, so I can see the name on the back of your jersey. Because I don't know who you are. I mean, are we gonna get one of the most special things in sports is a rivalry that's not just because they're in the same division, right? Like for a little bit, Patriots had one with the Colts. The Celtics always kind of have like, for some reason, ongoing one with the Lakers. But it's nice because when they're not in the same division, now it's when they truly hate each other, and it's because there's a reason. So Eagles Niners is a little rivalry brewing there.
I think it's a little fun.
I
think it's a little fun.
Eagles have a rivalry with everyone.
They kind of do. They
It feels
kind of
like it feels like anyway.
Whoever they play, whoever they eliminate from the playoffs, they suddenly have a rivalry with every time.
Yeah.
It's like Eagles versus all the other teams versus their own play. Eagles fans versus all the other teams versus their own players versus the cops.
Versus the cops. Versus God.
The cops are literally just like, can you not climb on stuff? And they're like, no.
Okay.
Okay. Like, I guess we'll have to put grease on everything.
The thing that surprised me the most about this Robbie Gould quote was I feel like if you make Jalen Hurts play quarterback trope that he's not a quarterback, he's a running back is such a played out and proven wrong narrative that I'm just surprised an NFL player would come out and say something like that.
Yeah.
Like it feels like they're a little bit more in tune with the game than the fans. That feels like something that like I don't know, a casual fan says who doesn't want Jalen Hurts at quarterback.
Right.
Not something an NFL player on an opposing team says about one of the best players in the league. Like that's just an ignorant statement to say if Jalen Hurts plays quarterback, you're going to have a good day on defense. Well, what about all the teams that they killed this year?
You kick, bro.
Especially because like Jalen Hurts threw for just as many yards as your entire team and he missed 2 games.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe look inward on that one. But
And also like Robbie, like what kind of day is the defense going to have if you're throwing the ball, bro?
yeah, the thing is players, they say the things that the fans say, but I think that a lot of times they say it on purpose. Like when these defensive backs are like, yeah, they got that guy over there. What's his name? D Higgins or whatever, right? It's like, dude, you know who T Higgins is. Will you shut up?
Be a lot more funny if they were saying these things on accident. Robbie's like, Jalen Hurts gonna have a good day on defense. Oh,
they 100%. They 100%. Some of them definitely are, dude. Some of them definitely are. My favorite one was one time the Patriots played in London and they asked Brandon Merriweather about it. And he was like, yeah, man. He's like, we had a ton of fun out there. We went to a haunted house. I saw the Big Bang clock. And they were like, Big Bang clock? And like, oh, Big Ben clock.
Big bang clock.
He's like, yeah, go big.
Yo.
It go every hour, go bang.
Bang. Every time someone mentions the country Bangkok, he thinks he's talking about Big Ben.
He's like, oh, I've been there.
The Big Bang
You
clock.
saw the Big Bang clock.
My favorite number was 7. What was yours? Tommy in here asking, who was the hog of the year? Offensive lineman. Can include tight ends if we want.
We're gonna do a whole awards thing once the Super Bowl is over.
We should.
Just you wait.
We got a nomination.
Just you wait.
Yeah, we got a nomination for that one. So write down Trent Williams for a nomination whenever we get to that awards point, JL. We'll make sure it's written down. Your nomination has been noted, Tommy.
How many finalists are we going to do out of the nominees? Because
74.
70, somewhere between 600 and 74. Okay, all right. That's. We'll have to narrow it down to that.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to narrow it down to even that amount, but we'll do what's needed to be done. I see Dustin over here saying, "What's up, fellas? What's up, Dustin? Welcome in, my friend. Glad to have you here."
Dude.
Yo, did you guys see that Brett Favre is suing Shannon Sharp and Pat McAfee over defamation?
Ooh,
over the scandal stuff.
Spicy.
Continuing to just fart on that reputation, fart all over that legacy, Brett Favre.
This is like
you love to see it.
This is the villain going down and then just trying to grab whatever they can on their way into the pit. Know what I mean? Like, he's not going to win these. If he's found guilty, the defamation suits aren't going to matter, right? Like,
right.
Yeah, because there's
Batman didn't stop, even though the police said so.
It's a threat. That's what it is. He's just threatening them he just wants them to be quiet. But the thing is, like, they can talk about the allegations because they're out there, right? Like, he is being accused of these things. Why can't they talk about that?
They can. Yeah, they absolutely can. No, you're right. This is the equivalent. This is the rich asshole way of walking up to someone with like your fists like this. It's the equivalent. Like, it's like,
this is the Dan Snyder ruining that guy's life over here.
Dude, Shannon Sharp is kind of the man, huh?
I like Shannon Sharp.
I'm a big Shannon Sharp fan. He goes after it. And you know what? And like, sometimes we've seen it a couple times, like, he'll cross a line with players from time to time. It happens, but he always steps up and says, yo, my bad. Know what I mean? Like, I got heated, but we both got heated there. Let's just keep it real and keep moving on.
Except with John Morant. He almost fought John Morant's dad. You know what I mean? So I don't know about that. But the thing is, John Morant, like, have you seen the stuff going on with him lately?
No.
Dude, he got in a little tussle with Shannon Sharp, but that wasn't the biggest thing of his problems. Apparently, against the Portland Trailblazers, he got into it with like some of the like staff at like the Trailblazers arena. And when they were leaving, John Morant was like in a car with like his like entourage, and some of the Portland Trailblazers like personnel said that they legit saw like red dots like flashing around in their car, as in like beams from like guns, like laser sights from guns. Yeah.
Or like a laser pointer.
Maybe they're just in there with laser pointers trying to pretend that they got guns. But knowing that crew, sometimes
did you guys ever pull that maneuver in school? The old laser pointer? Coop, why do I feel like you were the kid with like 6 laser pointers at all time attached to their backpack ring?
I had every sort of like nuisance item that you could have as a kid. I had it all. I had like a Batman belt that had like a yak back and a laser pointer and like one of those like mechanical pencils that you like rigged up to shoot staples at people, right? Like I had like one of
those handshake shock buzzers.
I had a Bic pen that like was loaded up with a rubber band that you could shoot like thumbtacks out of. Like there was no stopping the tomfoolery of our crew.
See, the problem I had was any nuisance or mischief that went on in a classroom, I was suspect number 1. So I couldn't get away with it. Like after kindergarten, know what I mean? Like I showed my hand in kindergarten, and that followed me for the rest of schooling because as soon as something went wrong, the eyes were on me immediately from the teacher. So I couldn't get away with it. Those nuisance machines would immediately get confiscated because they were watching me for them.
That's why you had to be like the Godfather. Like you had to keep your hands clean at all times, but you're like trying to direct the mischief so that when they come to you, you're just like, sorry, you know, you're gonna have to get me on tax evasion because my hands clean.
I was the 5-year-old Godfather. Right. If I'd seen the movie, I would make a reference here, but I haven't. So
Simon
insert Godfather reference in a baby voice.
Simon's in class. He looks over and he just goes. All of a sudden, like 10 spitballs hit the board.
Did you guys see George Kittle said on a podcast? I guess he said it's Brock's job to lose. George Kittle's bought it.
You can't say that, George.
Yeah, George, come on now. Did you accidentally say that, George?
Exactly. Half of Twitter didn't like that. The other half liked it.
Yeah, no, it's off season. You can say whatever you want, but he probably shouldn't have said that. That's probably irresponsible as a star player on a team to put your weight behind one of two young quarterbacks when you don't know which one's going to be the starter, right? Like that probably sucks for Trey Lance to wake up and see that news from George Kittle.
It's not like Trey Lance is pulling a Zach Wilson.
No,
you know, it's like he's just hurt.
He's pulling a hammy or whatever it is. He's not pulling a Zach Wilson.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I don't know if you're George Kittle, would you rather Brock Purdy at quarterback or Trey Lance? I mean, Brock Purdy was
I haven't seen enough from Trey Lance. I mean, like I haven't seen enough from Trey Lance, but just based on what I know about them, give me Trey Lance. Also, how many times have we seen a quarterback come out and find success in their rookie year, especially the guy that wasn't expected to be a starter, and then immediately the next year they're figured out, right? They fall off a cliff. We kind of saw that with Davis Mills this year as well, right? He came in and he had a pretty good season last year. He was arguably the best performing rookie quarterback up there with Mac Jones last season. And then this year, he got figured out because he's not very good. And I have a feeling the same thing's going to happen with Brock Purdy. What he's got going for him is the 49ers around him, right? He's got the best supporting cast maybe in the NFL when it comes to like a young quarterback. But
he's looked good. Like it wasn't just them that is making him throw these perfectly timed throws or have this just iron constitution in the pocket. Like he is flashing talent.
I agree with you.
I think the most likely outcome from this 49ers the quarterback situation in San Francisco, I think the most likely outcome here is that we see Trey Lance and Brock Purdy get mixed in together. And I think they're going to say, hey, Trey Lance is our starter, but we're going to actually start both of these guys and mix them in while Trey Lance is getting up to speed. I don't think Brock Purdy's going to be ready for the season. And I think they're going to mix that and then trade away Jimmy Garoppolo.
I think that's probably the best plan of attack, assuming Jimmy Garoppolo has any sort of trade value at this point, which
I think he does.
Yeah,
I think he does.
There are teams that could use him. I
think they'll hedge though. I think
the reason I asked that question from the standpoint of if you're George Kittle, who do you want a QB? Because do you guys remember how many touchdowns George Kittle scored over the last 4 games of the season?
1 million.
70 million.
Less than both.
7
million. Was it? 7 touchdowns over the last 4 games of the season playing with Brock Purdy. So if I'm George Kittle, maybe I'm sitting there and I'm like, maybe we like this Purdy guy after all.
That checks out.
Antonio reminded me Jimmy G is a free agent. That is right. That is right. I was thinking trading them last year.
Well, they tried to
trade value 0.
Right. If they were going to trade. The thing is, the hard thing about trading quarterbacks or any guy who is like a star caliber player that could be paid in like the top even half of their position or 10 of their position is that you get a compensatory pick back if that player walks and somebody signs him. So if Jimmy G in free agency signs a reasonable deal somewhere, you're going to get like a 4th or 5th round pick back. So why are you going to trade your backup quarterback? It's like the Tyler Huntley situation with the Ravens. Why are you going to trade your backup quarterback for like a 6th or 7th round pick if you could just keep him and then get a 6th or 7th round pick when he signs a contract somewhere else? It doesn't make sense. So that's why, like people were complaining about Mohamed Sanu going for a 2nd round pick. It's like, or, there was another trade this year. Now I forget, the guy went for a 2nd round pick. It's like, you have to pay a 1st or 2nd because the top comp pick is the 3rd round pick. It's just the way the league works. It's the way it's structured.
Speaking of 2nd round picks, I don't know if you guys were following the NBA trade deadline yesterday, but it was 2nd round pick chaos, which, like, if you were on the NBA subreddit or something, they were just having a field day because the picks were like 5 2nd round picks for one player. And that trade happened like 4 times. There were so many picks flying around the league that it became almost comical. Like, it seemed like one team set the price 5 seconds for this player, and then other teams just followed suit. They're like 5 seconds, 5 seconds, 5 seconds. We're on it. Yep, 5 2nd round picks. Trade them away.
Trade them away.
What's more valuable, like finding an old mint, like in the cushions of a couch, or an NBA 2nd round pick?
It's close. It's pretty close.
I think I'd rather
depends on the
mint.
brand. Like, if the mint is one of those like butter mints, you know what I'm talking about? The ones that like kind of melt in your mouth. They're a little bit soft.
Yeah.
Then it's worth it. But if it's like just your standard like peppermint circle hard one,
What if it's
an
Altoid?
I'll take the Altoid. That has utility.
Okay.
That has utility. Something happened last night in sports that I wanted to bring to our attention because it is the first time in my lifetime that this has happened. As a sports fan, in my 28 years of existence, this has never happened. The last time it happened was 30 years ago. The UConn women's basketball program has lost back-to-back games for the first time since 1993.
Wow.
Since 1993. That is absolutely absurd dominance from a team to go for 30 years without losing back-to-back games, especially in a sport like basketball that plays the volume of games that they do. To go 30 years without losing back-to-back.
I used to watch the UConn women's team heavily because there's a woman from my high school when I was growing up. She went to the high school that I would go to. She's older than I did and went and played at UConn. It was really good. She was like good friends with like my mom and stuff randomly. So I used to watch a ton of UConn, the women's team, and they're fantastic. That's crazy. I had no idea that's that, Simon.
That's my childhood. Like, my childhood when I think of women's basketball is UConn. That's the only team that comes to mind. They win every championship. If you're going to fill out your bracket, you just put UConn all the way to the end, and you get it right every time.
Ani Coop is a great basketball player, and she's a huge UConn fan. But the funny thing is, she's also a huge Tennessee Volunteers fan. She likes them. She likes them both.
Good combo to be
fans
and
of. She also she'll go she's like my UConn and my Tennessee, and they're the best 2 programs of all time. It's like, all right, it's like she's like, my favorite 2 teams are the Red Sox and the Yankees.
And you know what, Ani Coop? You pull it off. Don't let Coop tell you any different.
She pulls it off.
Don't you let him put you down for that.
Now that
Coop, as you said that, not once for a
ton.
second did I think she was a bandwagon fan. Like, you said that, and I was like, yeah, must be genuine. She's got real reasons, I believe. Like, I didn't question it for a second.
She is. She's a diehard fan of both teams, so she gets away with it. She gets away with it in so many sports. Now that I think of it, she's like, she's a
Scott Fish,
Dodgers and Orioles fan. Yeah, Scott Fish doesn't count.
Orioles fan. I didn't know that.
Yeah, Coopy. Dodgers are her number 1, but she likes.
How are you going to bring up Ani
Coop
hundreds of times on the show and never once mention that we share a favorite baseball team?
Dude, do you know the depth that is Ani Coop? You could bring her up 1,000 times and you still wouldn't get all the nooks and crannies of the greatness of Ani Coop. But yeah,
what's her favorite Canadian Football League team?
She's a big fan of the Bombardiers.
Who's your favorite Canadian?
Steve Nash.
Steve Nash. That's a good one.
It's a weird choice.
Who's your favorite?
Robin Sparkles.
My friend, Jim.
So my choice is weird, but your friend Jim is a fine choice.
I don't have a friend. I don't have any friends.
Dang it.
Yeah, I was making them up, guys.
Is Will Arnett Canadian, or am I making that up?
I bet you are.
Yeah, I think he. I almost very confidently was like, "Oh yeah, he definitely is." And then I was like, "Wait a minute."
It just sounds so right, doesn't it? Like, Will Arnett. He is.
He is. Yeah, we need Toronto Dave in here. Toronto Dave has like an encyclopedia list of like who's Canadian.
Everyone, every player. Josh Palmer, the Chargers wide receiver.
Tommy wants to know, can we get Ani Coop on for a fast girl quick time? I would love to hear her quick responses. We can get Ani Coop on for a fast girl quick time if she'd want to play.
I will get Ani Coop on. I'll talk to her because she needs to come on at this point. Do a fast fast guy, quick time, tell a little story. I'll talk to her. If she wants in, she's in. In fact, all you guys out there, I mean, I've said this maybe a trillion times on the show. On the Better Sports app, there's a little call button. If you call in, we'll put you on. We put Hal on all the time. We put Dustin on. Like, we're just here to talk ball. You guys are part of the show. You're part of the experience. Smash that fun button. Hit the like on YouTube. Call into the show. We'll talk about whatever you want. You want to talk about these guys that just made the Hall of Fame? Call in.
Too bad. We're not talking about that.
We're not talking.
Quit bringing up dumb
ideas. We're not talking about it until someone calls in. I refuse. I'm not even going to mention.
Just sit here in silence until one person calls in.
We just sit in silence until someone calls in.
Yeah, don't stop talking too much. I am making noise over here that you guys are covering for. If
So
we
I'm
sit
talking
here in silence, I'll be revealed.
I'm talking directly to you guys in the chat. Tommy, Al, LVII Jedi, Will, Craig, Dustin.
Oh, y'all.
I see you guys right now. I see you right there. Will, I see you right now. He said, my wife asked me if I had seen the dog bowl. I said no. I said I didn't know he could. that's a good joke. Hit him with the laugh track.
What's up, Will? Welcome, man. I see we got Albert down here as well. What's up, Albert? Welcome in this morning. An LVII Jedi in here, hyped about that Mahomes MVP.
Let's go.
The absolute.
I'm stealing that dog joke. That's a classic.
What's your favorite like bad joke? Like your favorite like groanable joke?
What's Mozart's favorite fruit? Banana.
That one's pretty stupid. That one's pretty good, Coop. I'm gonna add that to my repertoire.
It's yours, dude. What do you guys
for you?
You guys got one?
Why did the old man fall in the well?
Why?
He couldn't see that well.
It's
Jesus Christ.
You somehow said well too many times. I don't know why, but you did.
My favorite joke. It's number one for me. I love it so much.
God damn it.
Jill, you got one?
I got one, but I think it's more specific to me because I don't know that anybody else probably has this experience, but my dad loves
those are the
these
best
phrases.
kinds of jokes.
My dad is a big Costa Rica guy. He loves the country. He's got like properties down there, condo and stuff. And every time we're there, we're going up to his condo, and there's a bunch of divots in the road because of the rain. And it's like dirt roads. And every single time, without fail, he goes, "Oh, you like that Costa Rican massage?"
Oh my God, dude.
That's a classic.
Not only every day of like that vacation, but every single time we go there, he makes the same joke.
That's every parent has to have like a repeated joke. You know what I mean? Like one that they say over and over again. Yeah, it's got to happen. It's got to become part of your repertoire that in a certain situation, you say the same thing every single time as a parent. It's your responsibility. And then as a child, it's your job to mock that. To know that they say, like, you have to mock it.
I just turned to him and I'm just like, am I supposed to react now? Like, what kind of reaction do you want this time? Sixth time.
It's
Am I
like
supposed to laugh again?
Every time my mom goes to the dentist, she comes and she goes, but that little gown they gave me was way too small. It didn't cover anything. Talking about the lead vest that they hand you, pretending like it's a hospital gown where you're supposed to strip down and lay on the chair with just the vest on. That's her favorite joke.
That's a good one. I like that one.
That's her number one favorite.
My dad does one. He's done it to me like 5 different times, and every time I fall for it. Like we get in the car and he's like, "Oh man, my seatbelt's not working," and then like he'll put it on and he'll be like, "Oh, it's working." I'm like your seatbelt wasn't working, and he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I couldn't figure out how my seatbelt worked, but then it just clicked."
Why are other people's parents cringe moments like way more endearing than your own parents?
I'm like, will you just please drive? Like we're already late. Like we've been late. Like drive the car.
Our flight takes off in 45 minutes. Come on.
But Craig wants to know, Jill, is your dad John Hammond?
Yes, it's close.
Just found out.
Now we got the stupid jokes pouring in. Producer Tony, aka Hot Pasta, says, "Why do seagulls not fly over the bay?" You guys know why, boys?
It's classic. Tell me why, Coop.
Because then they would be bagels. Yeah, we need that laugh track. Where the hell did you go, JL? Did you just get up and leave?
I said I'm out.
He's like, that's last joke.
I was
Yeah.
trying to see if this was in reach, because I was gonna say another one, which was the classic. Your dad gets the stud finder. And beep beep.
Oh, the
beep,
stud
beep,
finder.
beep.
That's the oldest. That's the oldest trick in the book. We
But I
got-
can't find my stud
You're
finder.
lying if you say you've never done that.
Oh, yeah,
I
100%.
know you've done that. Like the one or two
100%.
times where you
First thing I
finally
did.
like mustered up the willpower to do a home improvement project. The very first thing you did when grabbing that stud finder was walk up to Maria and be like, "Hey,
Did she tell you that?
no."
She
but
said she wasn't going to tell you.
No, I have done that every time I've touched a stud finder. I'm just practicing
That's
to be an
practice.
adult.
Will says, I'm thinking of trying a new diet, but I can't right now. I have a lot on my plate. That's
That wasn't a strong enough laugh. Like, it needed to come in.
Do you guys
I
know?
need like a whole smorgasbord of laugh tracks here.
Do you guys know any of those like old like I used to work at blah 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 jokes? Like I used to work at the orange juice factory, but I got canned because I couldn't concentrate.
I don't know a single one of those. I've heard.
You don't
them,
know?
but I
You don't know any
I
of
have
those?
none. I used to be a butcher, but meat sucks. How's that?
Hit the laugh track on that. I used to work down at the the laugh track just threw me off, dude. I used to work down at the circus circumcising the elephants. The pay sucked, but the tips were huge.
You know, the common job, elephant circumciser.
Yes.
You get it? The tips were huge.
Yeah, I get it because elephants are large, so we're implying that their penises are probably large as well. Michael in here said, "Why do ducks have feathers?" First, we talked about wieners, and now we're talking about butt quacks that they're covering to cover their butt quacks.
Butt quack.
That's good, dude. That's good.
It just got hospitalized due to a peekaboo accident. They put me in the ICU. That one's pretty good, Dustin. I'm a fan of that one. Guys, coming up, we are going to solve some Weddle. We've got some Super Bowl bets we're going to be talking about. We're playing Texas Ranges with our friend Vinnie, and then Tim's going to come on a little bit later as well to go through some Super Bowl predictions and play some Hypothetically. You're watching the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Green Screens Media back at it again with your BSN timeout. And today we're bringing you our college basketball bubble report. With me, as always, the captain of our ship at Green Screens Media, Mr. Mike Holland. Mike got a fresh Lenardi bracketology breakdown. His last four in are Kentucky, West Virginia, Nevada, and Oklahoma State. His first four out include Texas A&M, Florida, Oklahoma, and Charleston. Looking at those last four in, any of those teams catching your eye?
Yeah, I want to talk about the Nevada Wolfpack out of the Strong Mountain West here. Coach Steve Alford's done an amazing job reassembling this roster after losing Grant Sherfield, Desmond Cambridge, and Warren Washington. This team is top 50 in offensive and defensive efficiency. It's really been the progression of senior guard Keenan Blackshear. He's been one of the most improved players in the country. He, along with Oregon State transfer guard Jared Lucas, who's averaging 17 points per game, they formed one of the most underrated backcourts in the country. Look, they have a tough stretch down the road here, but anything can happen when your backcourt's playing this well.
That backcourt is rock solid. I want to talk about Kentucky. It's kind of weird to see them on the fringe given how talented they are. They're playing well in conference. They've won 6 straight games in the SEC. They've also got some pretty quality losses on their resume as well. And obviously, they've still got Oscar Tshiebwe, so that's always going to be working in their favor. But it feels like someone like Reeves is going to need to chip in a bit more offensively. Playing in the SEC, it's going to be a tough stretch of games to close out the year. But ultimately, if they can rattle off a few more wins, I think they can solidify their spot.
Yeah, I think Coach Cal knows what he's doing. I expect to see Kentucky in the tournament. Let's slide on over to the first four out. Texas A&M, also in the SEC. Coach Buzz Williams done a great job this year after slim preseason expectations. They have quality wins over Auburn, Missouri, Florida. Look, they've done it behind their guards here on offense. Wade Taylor and Tyrese Radford. but the emergence of big man Henry Coleman's been a big storyline here. They've been also very good on the defensive end. The road doesn't get any easier down the stretch here in the SEC, but 3 or 4 more quality wins in the final 8 should be enough to get them over the hump.
We will stick with the SEC. I'm going to talk about the Florida Gators, 13-10 on the season. It feels a bit more like an at-large kind of team. They're playing really strong defense. They're coming in ranked 10th in the nation in that regard. Still have Colin Castleton. He is the engine for this team on both ends of the floor, but I'm not sure if he by himself is going to be enough. So we're looking at players like Richard or Lofton or Jones maybe. One of these guys is going to need to step up. The good news for the Gators, they do have a chance to build their resume if they can heat up to close out SEC play. That will do it for your BSN timeout. Make sure you stay locked here on the Better Sports Network and check out Green Screens Media on Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube so you don't miss a minute of our college basketball coverage.
Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show. Ow! It is Friday, February 10th. We are playing some games, talking Super Bowl. And up next, we got some Super Bowl bet conversation going on. Coop, this year is the first year I'm able to bet on the Super Bowl.
I know. I'm jealous because we're so close. We're so close in Massachusetts. They've like approved everything, but it's just not up and running. Like you told me this would happen.
Yep.
Because you went through it with Baltimore, and you're like, there's gonna be like 5 different times that you're gonna think that it's time.
Yep.
But then there will be one official day where the apps go live, and sure enough, we're there. Everything's approved. Nothing is live yet. But I remember the day that they told you it would go live, man. That was a joyous day, and
It was like right before Thanksgiving.
yeah, it was nice. It was perfect timing.
We made our first bets here on the show.
It was
Well,
a
my
joyous
first-
occasion. Yeah.
But yeah, we this year. I just remember last year going to and watching to the Super Bowl, going to a Super Bowl party, and thinking how badly I wanted to bet on the national anthem, and just thinking, I hope next year I get to bet on the Super Bowl. And so we are going to go through. We're at the FanDuel Sportsbook. Going to go through and try and find some different bets that we like. Talk through them. Coop, is there any you see that stand out to you?
Yeah, I think so. We got to get to all the fun bets. Like I do like the national anthem ones. Coin flip is one that you can always bet on. The I love like the Gatorade bets, but let's look at some of the typical bets that we like to look at. One of my favorite ones that we do on here, and hopefully, so Simon had to go. Simon had to leave briefly. He has a part-time job at the zoo circumcising elephants. And he's collecting.
Started. This is his first day. It's
his first day. Yeah. So
Yeah.
does he get to keep the tips?
Not for like the first 3 months. Kevin James actually keeps all those.
He gets,
but after that, yeah, once he's passed probation,
then he gets mixed in. Yeah. So
yeah,
hopefully he comes back soon that we can talk about some of these numerous. But one of my favorite,
you know how like some restaurants, they like split the tips amongst everybody.
Yeah. Oh, so he's like he gets like
it's one of those maneuvers.
Eventually, he'll start getting just a little bit, but
yeah, him and the bus boys.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
So there are so many more typically for a typical game during the year, they'll do like first player to score. For this game, you can do anything. First position to score, first player to score each position, first player to score per team. I still like the overall first player to score points in the game. If you were going to pick somebody off this list, who do you think you would go with?
I'm trying to pull up the list because I have to do all of the authentication stuff. Give me some of the names on the list. I log in.
So I mean, it's literally anybody. So you can pick Harrison Butker, you can pick
makes sense.
Travis Kelce, Isaiah Pacheco. It's literally anyone. First,
Kelsey's got to be one of the highest, right?
So
maybe not first touchdown. Kelsey, or I'm sorry, Travis Kelce, as we've been informed to call him.
Yeah, he wants to be. Yeah, that's his official name. So yeah, he is one of the favorites. Though it looks like the top 2 in terms of lines are the kickers. My lines.
That makes sense.
And apparently my lines are not loading on FanDuel because I am in Massachusetts and they changed.
Oopsie.
They changed. They don't even show you them anymore. So give me 2 seconds to pull up some lines.
Oh yeah.
What
So
do you see?
So the Eagles are 1.5 point favorites going into this game. We talked about a little bit about this yesterday. I think I'm going on the Kansas City Chiefs side of this. It's so close. I feel like this is one of the I don't know. I know I'm gonna put a bet down on the Chiefs just for the sake of like wanting this game to be hella fun. You know what I mean?
Right.
Get a little skin in this game.
You gotta have something. You gotta have something.
What do you take? Are you taking Chiefs or Eagles at 1.5?
I kind of like. I like the Chiefs, man. I don't know if it wasn't Patrick Mahomes and a team that's already been there and been in these huge situations and done this before, then it would be easier for me to pick the Eagles. But the Chiefs, there's something to be said about a team that's been there and done it with Kelsey, with Mahomes. They've been in a ton of these games. They've won. They know what it feels like to win. They know what it feels like to lose. Like they are coming in with that like cold, calculated approach. Yeah,
Right.
it's like it happens. It's funny. It happens in like video games I play where like the first time I ever got to the end of a battle royale game, I was just panic mode. There's no way I could have won.
So stressed.
Yeah, because I didn't have the confidence, right? But after I'd been to the top 10 and lost a couple times, finally I was like, you know what? Now I just need to get. I know what it takes, right? And I just feel like the
Right.
Chiefs know what it takes, as corny as that is, you know. But I do like. I've got some strategies for the Eagles that we can talk about later, but that's what I got. So
Yeah, I'm with you. I think there is value in being in those high stakes situations multiple times,
Right.
because you learn from each one, right? Each time is a new rep, and reps is what gives you that confidence, gives you that muscle memory. So I'm with you. I think that absolutely gives Patrick Mahomes and these Chiefs an edge in this game that the Eagles don't have.
yeah, thing is, we're gonna have to learn a lot about Jalen Hurts here because you know, and the thing with Jalen Hurts is that you got to think about it. It doesn't get much worse than what happened to him in college, where he got benched in the middle of a championship game and then his team won. So
Right.
at least he can sit there and say, it can't be, it'll never be that bad, right? It can't possibly be that bad again. Because like honestly, as great as much as you want your team to win, losing is better than somebody comes in and does your job and then they win. Right. That's the worst possible. So
you don't want to get shown up.
yeah, it can't be worse than that. So, and I don't think they're going to bench Jalen Hurts on this. So, you know, I think at least he knows that the floor is a little bit higher than it could have been.
Right.
So, as far as the first touchdown, I'm still. Did yours load up yet?
Oh, for the first touchdown. Oh, I didn't know that's what you were asking me.
Yeah, that's what I
got you.
Wondering.
I got you. Anytime first touchdown score, and you just asked me what question?
I just was hoping you could rattle off some odds because FanDuel has.
Okay. Oh, I see. So Travis Kelce plus 650, Jalen Hurts plus 800, Miles Sanders plus 850, AJ Brown plus 850. We got like Pacheco plus 1,000, Vontae Smith plus 1,100. Any of those top names stick out to you?
I mean, Devonta Smith, if you really think about it, since Dallas Goedert got back, which was like week 16, Devonta Smith has and I was just writing about this yesterday for my tight end article. If you're looking for tight end, FanDuel, and DraftKings advice, there's an article up right now on Fantasy Alarm that I wrote. Since Dallas Goedert got back, it's actually been Devonta Smith that leads this team in target share with a 29% target share. Then you have AJ Brown at 24%, Dallas Goedert down at 17%. So I don't think it's crazy to suggest that Devonta Smith could score the first touchdown. And if the odds are $100 to win over 1,000, sounds pretty good to me. I kind of like that.
Yeah, I kind of like that too. Maybe, oh man, you could go. Who was the guy we were talking about this morning on BYOB who's talking about the Jalen Hurts and the Chiefs defense? It was Robbie Gould, right?
Robbie Gould, yeah.
Robbie Gould. You can go the Chiefs defense and hope for a Jalen Hurts interception here, plus 3,600 for first touchdown score.
First touchdown, like that'd be ballsy to take for an anytime touchdown score. I feel like for first touchdown, man, that feels like just gifting some money away.
Yeah.
It's not high enough. Like I need that to be much higher.
They've got that one up there just for Robbie. Robbie dropped a couple thousand on that, and so they got that one up there for him.
Only him. Where are all the fun bets on here? I can't find them.
I had a number of them that were up here. Like you're talking about, like for the.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, like your color of first Gatorade poured on winning head coach. So the odds are plus 150 for yellow/green/lime.
Which is the
Oh,
classic.
would you look at this, fellas? Orange plus 280, blue plus 350.
Well, John Luke.
I know it says color, not flavor.
It is a little bit surprising to me that orange isn't the most likely, because statistically, orange is the color that's dumped on the head coach the most often. So they must be thinking something else here. Maybe because the Eagles are playing in it and are favored, and there's Gatorade that more looks like their colors. It's taking that one spot.
It's it's Vegas, bro. It's deeper than that. They have people. They have
people at Gatorade.
They've not only probably watched the tape to figure out, like they probably all season long have people like, going down in the field in like a trench coat and like kicking cups to see what colors in there for each team.
Someone has to have tracked like how many times the books have been right on that one, right?
I'm sure they're right. I'm sure they're right virtually every time. And I know sometimes
I'm curious to know what the actual percentage is.
Yeah. I mean, and the other thing is that, like, how hard would it be? Like, Vegas has millions of dollars pouring in these prop lines. How hard would it be for them to just be like, for them to group together and kind of slide a little money to whoever's putting the Gatorade in those things? Say, hey, look, or just say, hey, tell us what color the Gatorade is, right?
Also, now that
here's 10,000, here's $20,000, here's $1 million. That's, I mean, the odds that are the bets that are coming in on Gatorade and all this other stuff is so astronomically high. They could literally just be like, here's 10 grand. Just tell us exactly what color the juice is. Right?
Jail has had a lot to say over the last 2 minutes.
Damn, I was like, why does he keep talking over me?
You were just so quiet.
I was trying to let you know. I was trying to give you a little symbols, Jail. Like,
I'm just up here and like looking at my ceiling, waiting to talk. The point that the way I was thinking about that, Coop, is that I can't imagine the money that they could make on that bet. Like by rigging that bet would be more than the amount that they'd lose because of just getting screwed by the regulation on that. And they lose so much other money.
Oh, if they like tampered with it, if they had like true knowledge of what Coop's saying though would not. We look at the evidence of every other NFL game leading up to this point to determine what the outcome of this game is going to be. And don't get me wrong, there's more factors, right? But a smart bettor on the Gatorade or someone setting the lines, I would expect them to know the color of Gatorade at every single one of these teams' games leading up to this moment, right? I don't think that's cheating. It's only cheating if they know for sure. They can follow the trends. If they look in the bucket ahead of time, right? Like, that's fine. That's fine.
Sportsbook typically don't look at it as like, how can we win this entire thing anyway? They're looking at how to balance it.
Exactly. The Chiefs did win the Super Bowl recently. Do you know what color their Gatorade was last time they won?
Orange.
In Super Bowl 57?
Red.
It was orange, not red. It was orange whenever they won. So orange is there near the top. It's the most likely. I saw the numbers now. It's been orange the most times since 2001. With 5. So it's not like it's the dominant favorite.
Which is so weird because orange is gross.
Oh, you were just wrong.
The Bucks use blue, it seems.
Orange is not the best.
No. It's not.
I'm sorry. You could take a bet on the FanDuel Sportsbook. Will there be scoregami? Plus 1,800 for yes, minus 8,000 for no.
That's tough, dude.
You have to be what a curmudgeon-y bet to take minus 8,000 on no scoregami. Like, you deserve to lose your money if you put it down on that. That is so not fun.
But it's like, oh man, the glory. Like, I already feel just absurd levels of joy whenever scoregami hits. There's money involved as well.
Plus 8,000. So
in a Super Bowl, like, I feel like I have to take that.
So if you put $1 million that the score is the score that's happened before, how much do you win?
If I just put $100 in on minus 8,000, for the odds that no, there will not be scoregami. It says to win $1.25 if I bet $100.
So if you put $1 million in there, you could win $125,000. Kind of free money.
If it's Scorigami, you lose your $1 million.
The max it'll let me put in there is 1,000 to win 1,250.
I don't know. I feel like that's a good bet. $1 million to win 125,000.
I think the math is that
1,000
right?
to win 1,000 to win 250. So you
1,000
essentially
to
win
1,250.
1,250. Yeah. So you win 250 essentially.
Yeah, you gotta go huge on the plus 8,000. Like you can't just casually.
Minus 8,000.
I don't know. It's also like I don't know. It's like free money, dude. What are the chances?
Like, Scorigami is low, but if it happens, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, in free money, you have to put $1,000 down to win 1,250. You have to put $1,000 down to cover lunch tomorrow without the tip at a fast food restaurant.
Well, when you put it that way,
Like you're gonna risk $1,000 to get McDonald's tomorrow.
free McDonald's, bro. I'm pretty sure if the Eagles win, you get free McDonald's anyway. At least in Philly.
Should I put like a $50 bet down on that it is Scorigami? You'd win 950 would be the payout. You'd win 900.
Do it.
There are not very many reasonable Scorigami scores left, though.
I don't care about reasonable. I care about
Clearly not.
drama.
I feel like plus 1,800, it should be much different.
It should be juicier than that.
It should be juicier than that, right?
I mean, like, what are some of the easiest to get Scorigami scores? I mean, like 32 to 12. That's Scorigami. That seems pretty reasonable.
That seems
Not in this game.
higher scoring. We need more points, Coop. Give me a higher score in Scorigami.
Okay, how about 40 to 19?
Oh God. What about 40 to 40? That's
How the heck do you get? How the heck do you get
You
19?
can't tie in the Super Bowl.
Very few.
I
Like,
didn't even think about
what
it.
if they tied?
There's a lot of them available at 15 or 18 points, like 39, 15, 39, 18. Like if one team scores 39 and the other 39 rarely comes up. 39 to 11, 12, 15, 16, 18, and 19 has never happened. And 22.
Okay.
So 39 is the number we want.
39 points. That's what's happening.
That's what's happening. 11 very rarely comes up as well.
Also, just the idea. At first, I was like, oh, that's weird that a 40-40 score has never happened. But then I thought about what would need to happen in that game. Two teams that individually scored 40 points throughout regulation. Their defenses have played an entire game would all of a sudden have to not be able to score at all for the entire overtime period. Know what I mean? Like it would be two high-powered offenses that would show up in overtime. Like what happens on the last play of the game? Both quarterbacks, like I don't know, like break their arm, and now you're in there with your backup quarterbacks. That would be an absurd situation to have a 40-40 game and then just nothing.
I'm looking at some of these horrible games. There were two different games that ended 3-2. One was the Chicago Cardinals against the Milwaukee Badgers back in October 1926.
Led under center by Smudge Peterson's brother, Fudge Peterson.
And their childhood best friend and accountant, Willie Anderson.
Willie Anderson.
The other one is also from 1921. The Dayton Triangles versus the Cleveland Indians ended in 3-2. And then later that day, they played a Major League Baseball game against each other that also ended in 3-2.
I just got the best segment idea from this.
Wait, Coop, was that real? Like before we had the segment idea, like those teams played a football game and then later that same day played a baseball.
I wish they did. I mean, one of the football teams' name is the Cleveland Indians. That's why I said that.
Okay, I was gonna say because like that sounds like some 1920s professional sports style stuff, like where the football team would just then go play.
Dude, that was my
jail.
Well, that's the thing. Well, you brought up that guy the other day that played like every sport. What was his name?
Rube Waddell.
Played like every sport for Philly, right? He played for the Phillies, the Eagles. He was a goalie for their soccer team.
He was a dog at the dog park.
Yeah, my favorite part of at the expo going to the Football Hall of Fame was looking at the old timey football team names from back in the day, like the Dayton Triangles. How? Like why? You have the triangles?
Man, I respect that. I respect that so much though, because they just went out there with geometry. They're like, look, this is different. It's gonna be a stress. People are gonna be shocked. A lot of people aren't gonna like it. but we're going to be the triangles.
Yeah.
Maybe they asked someone on the team, like, we need to be fearsome. We need to be strong. We need to be feared. And they looked at their quarterback and they were like, what are you most scared of? And he was like, oh, geometry.
And then like the kicker in the corner is like, triangle is the strongest shape.
It kind of is though, dude. It's the tightest, right?
They walk out on the field. They're like, A squared plus B squared equals C squared.
Elise.
Get out there, Pythagoras.
Everybody's Pythagoras.
The
playbook's all just geometry, just shapes and angles.
I've been looking for a Providence Steamroller shirt. Hard to find some of those old timey team names, but that's a team name. The Steamroller.
Providence Steamrollers. I like that.
That's an acute name.
Now we're doing jokes again. I got some old timey team names here. Let's see. The Dayton Triangles is a good one. The Columbus Panhandlers. What do you think about that one?
That's pretty good.
The Duluth Eskimos.
Duluth, Minnesota, or Duluth, Georgia? Because it makes a lot more sense in one of those locations.
Duluth, Minnesota.
Okay, yeah, cool. That checks out then.
You got the Frankfurt Yellow Jackets. The Louisville Breckenridges.
They love skiing.
They love it. The New York Brickley Giants. The Newark Tornadoes. I'm loving that.
It's a pretty good name.
All right, I got the most old-timey team name from the list. Nobody's going to beat this one. The Pottsville Maroons.
Pottsville Maroons.
The Maroons, you see? The Maroons are the team that's coming to beat you this afternoon.
The Maroons.
And you will remember our name, Pottsville.
Pottsville, you'll rue the day you challenge the boys from Pottsville. Get them, Maroons.
We're not quite red. We're not quite violet. Maroon.
Maroons.
What were we talking about? The Super Bowl or something?
Oh my God. I have no idea.
It's the Pottsville Maroons versus the Racine Legion.
Also, we got NKC in here coming in.
We
were talking about some of the awards, specifically Patrick Mahomes winning the MVP. NKC seems to think that Jalen Hurts deserved the MVP award, and Nick Sirianni got robbed of Coach of the Year as well. I'm not going to argue against that. I think there's an argument to be made for Jalen Hurts as MVP, probably a stronger one than Sirianni as Coach of the Year. But I see the argument for Jalen Hurts as MVP.
The headline now: Eagles fans believe Eagles got robbed. More than 11.
4 out of 11.
Hey, and if your Eagles take it home on Sunday, I don't think Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts are going to be too upset about trading an MVP and a Coach of the Year for a Super Bowl ring.
The way they can kind of navigate these awards too is it makes a lot of sense. Like they can easily just be like, oh, well, we gave Howie Roseman the Executive of the Year award. He built the team. So then you just take away credit from the coaches and the QB, right? And just say, oh, we give the award to Howie Roseman for bringing all these guys together, for trading for AJ Brown. And then now you can give another award to somebody else. Everybody's happy.
Done.
Bingo bango.
And then the offensive linemen are like, what about us? And they're like, you shut up. You never get any awards.
You sit there and you be happy.
And they're like, well, what about like we don't want to be like MVP or anything, but how about like Offensive Player of the Year? And they're like, no, Offensive Player of the Year. MVP is the best quarterback, and Offensive Player of the Year is the second best quarterback.
Yeah.
Except, sorry, it took me a second to register what you said there. MVP is the best quarterback of the year, and then Offensive Player of the Year is the second best quarterback.
Though this year was a wide receiver. And last year, actually.
Yeah, I was going to say, because we had Justin Jefferson this year.
Who was
it last year? Was it
a lot of years
last year?
A lot of years of both quarterbacks. One year, the MVP was Patrick Mahomes, and the Offensive Player of the Year was Patrick Mahomes.
He won both of them?
Yeah, he won them both. That's stupid.
I didn't know they could do that.
No, yeah, apparently they can. That's dumb.
Speaking of Patrick Mahomes and winning extra awards, there is a prop in here that is Patrick Mahomes versus the field for Super Bowl MVP. That's the bet. And they've got Mahomes at plus 130 versus the entire field doing Super Bowl MVP, which I don't know. I think that's interesting with the Eagles being favorites The Patrick Mahomes versus the field is only at plus 130.
So in that case, you're getting the field. So at plus 130, you get the whole field.
No, you get Patrick Mahomes.
Well, why wouldn't you just bet on Patrick Mahomes to win the MVP at the more difficult odds? Like MVP,
Right,
no matter what player you pick, like if you pick Jalen Hurts to win MVP, it's Jalen Hurts versus the field. If you were to
Correct.
pick-
So I think you're missing the point that I'm making. I think the odds should be you should get a higher payout for selecting Mahomes in this whenever his team isn't even favored to win the game and they've got him versus the field as Super Bowl MVP. It should be plus more than 130 is what I'm saying, right? Like, how are they going to have his team not even favored to win the game and then have him at only plus 130 to win Super Bowl MVP?
So basically his odds to win MVP are plus 130?
Versus the field. Yeah, you can take the rest of the field at minus 170.
Okay, yeah. So I think that's why they have that line up there, is it gives you the option to take anyone but Mahomes.
Right, I understand that. I'm saying the Mahomes line should be high. Like, I think that's not a high enough payout. I wouldn't take that.
Yeah.
It seems like it goes against the script that they're laying out elsewhere.
What's Jalen Hurts' MVP odds?
Jalen Hurts versus the field, it's at plus 130 as well.
Okay, yeah. So
So
the
those
two
guys are sitting at
quarterbacks.
the same.
So they don't care. That's how Vegas operates, right? Is they collect that 30 no matter who wins. They're like, one of these quarterbacks probably going to win, and then we just collect the difference. Vegas, genius.
And if they both
Jeez.
lose, then it works out the other way as well.
Works even better. It's even better if somebody else wins it.
Works out for them.
Yeah.
That is, I guess, with the 1.5 point line, maybe I'm putting a little bit too much stock into that whenever it comes to looking at like who they think is going to win the game. That's basically a pick 'em at this point, with the Eagles only being 1.5 point favorites. It's not like I can garner too much about the overall sentiment of Vegas on who's going to win this game.
That makes
Not
sense.
going to be able to hit it.
Who do you think's going to win? Because while you were away circumcising elephants at the beginning of this segment, JL and I talked about who we thought were going to win. Who do you think's going to win the game, Simon?
Well, first of all, I was consoling the circumcised elephants. I'm not the circumciser. I'm in charge of post-care
therapist.
therapy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then that brings us back to another point that me and JL were talking about. Do you still get to split the tips? Are you part of that pool?
No, I'm not. It's a nonprofit role that I'm operating in.
Wow,
That's very brave.
brave and valiant.
Thank you. I do my best. And what was the actual question I was answering?
I don't remember.
Who do I think is going to win the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Sorry, got distracted by circumcising elephant discussion, as one does when talking about the Super Bowl. I think the Eagles are going to win the Super Bowl. I think this Eagles defense, I disagree with Brandon Ayuk that they're going to get exposed by the Chiefs offense. And I think they're going to be able to establish that run game that's been so dominant all year. Should be a fun game, though. I'm excited. I'll take the Eagles, though. And also, side note, I have fallen in love with the city of Philadelphia over the past 2 weeks, just from all of the footage from Philly, of Philly fans. Like, God, it seems like dirty in the best way. No, like it seems like grungy. Dirty's the wrong, like it seems like just like a good city, and it's a little rough, but they don't care. They're rocking with it. They love it anyways. And I rock with that. I love that.
Philadelphia is the city that is most likely to be Gotham.
I've never been to Philly, but I'm going to take that description as Bible.
I don't
feel
know.
like Gotham has the same exact vibe of like whenever they any rendition of it, it's always been like, man, this kind of looks like New York, but like
Kind
smaller,
of feels like Philly.
but and like a little grittier. Yeah, it kind of feels like Philly, 100%. Looks like New York, feels like Philly.
Yeah, but there's also like the classy parties that like Bruce Wayne goes to, and I'm not sure they have those in Philly.
That's true.
It's more just like,
No flashy parties.
it's like those parties would be like some chick in sweatpants wearing an old Jeremy Maclin jersey, eating cheese off a plate.
Jeremy Maclin.
Dustin said, being from outside Philly, I completely agree with JL. Agreeing with JL on that one.
Yes.
It is.
We
Yeah,
got-
they get rowdy. I love that. I love that about them, the rowdiness.
I can't stop watching videos of them being interviewed on the street. They all scream. Every single Philly fan screams into the microphone. No one's just like, oh, yeah, I think it's going to be a good game. It's immediate 10 on the volume scale.
And I love they have the perfect song for it too. That Meek Mill song. Ain't this what they've been waiting for? Like it just Y'all thought I was finished. Like it just gets so ridiculous, dude. It is
good.
perfect for Philly. That song, Dreams and
It
Nightmares.
is.
It is perfect. Guys, coming up, we're going to make some more Super Bowl predictions. We're going to talk some Texas ranges, and we're going to play some hypothetically with our friend Tim as well. Before we get to that, though, I want to remind everyone that we are sponsored by our friends over at Lucra. You can download the Lucra app now using the link right below our faces on the screen to create a contest and bet against your friends. If you use promo code BSN, you're going to receive a free $10 to play with and a 10% deposit match or a 100% deposit match up to $100. We are also having a giveaway leading up to the Super Bowl, and all you have to do to enter is make a contest or accept a challenge on Lucra after you signed up using promo code BSN. If it's against the host, you're going to get an extra entry as well, and our winner will get a $250 gift card to the merch shop here on Better Sports Network, full of autographed memorabilia out the wazoo.
Dang.
To get those entries in, challenge me. My username's FYF Simon on there. I know Coop's at Sauce McFloss. You can shoot some challenges our way, get your entries in, maybe get some sick merch after the Super Bowl. Right now, you're watching the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis, presented by FantasyAlarm.com.
Before the year, I said the Eagles were going to win the NFC East. I don't know if you remember that. I am a Cowboys fan. I do hate the Eagles. But anyone who has listened to me over the years knows that I can be objective. So I tweeted out, has there ever been a team that has an easier path to the Super Bowl than Philadelphia? Of course, the Eagles fans got on me. And I wasn't really alluding to the regular season. I know the tweet could be taken that way. But when you look at this playoff path, they had a first-round bye. Then they beat the Giants, okay? But anyone who was being reasonable, especially with Jalen Hurts, knew the Giants were not in the class of Philadelphia. Then you get to the NFC Championship game where the quarterback got hurt early in the game. And then the fourth-string quarterback, Josh Johnson, leaves with a concussion. And then they couldn't pass the ball. That's your path to getting to the Super Bowl. It doesn't mean that I'm saying the Eagles suck. I never said that. People are so sensitive. Anyone who's listened to me all year, I have given this team props. But the fact is they had an easy path. And like, well, they destroyed both teams. They did. Now the 49ers are good. And then someone's like, oh, well, they beat your Cowboys. Who did I pick to win last week? San Francisco, right? I picked San Francisco to beat Dallas. I didn't want that to happen, but I'm analyzing the game. I despise the Yankees. Anyone who knows me knows that. I had every Yankee starting pitcher on a fantasy roster last year. Every one of them. This year, the Superflex draft that we did, an industry draft, I took Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith, Saquon Barkley, Daniel Jones, Kadarius Toney. And people afterward, you a Giants fan? No, bro. I want to win. It doesn't matter what team they're on. I don't care. I want to win. Do I despise those teams? Yes. But I want to win. If I feel they're the best fit for my fantasy team, I'm going to draft them. If I feel a bet is going to win and I hate that team, I'm going to bet it. It's about winning. It's about helping people make money. We all have that little bias in us, no doubt. But I will say this, I'm being honest. I hope Philadelphia gets smoked in the Super Bowl, okay? I am rooting for Kansas City. My man Patrick Mahomes, dad played for the Mets. But I will analyze the game objectively, okay? Because I want the Eagles to lose. That doesn't mean I'm picking Kansas City. I'm going to analyze the game because I'm going to look at it as if I'm putting my money down. So it has nothing to do with that. And I don't know why people automatically, oh, you're a Cowboys fan, this and that. Well, yeah, I see your stupid avatar that you're an Eagles fan. You're clearly biased. Can we just agree that their path was easy? It doesn't diminish that they're in the Super Bowl. I didn't say they suck. I didn't say they don't deserve to be there. I just said the path was easy, and I don't think that's factually incorrect. And I didn't mean it for the regular season. I know it could be interpreted that way. Did they have great wins? No, but you know what? It doesn't matter. They were 14-3. They beat everyone they're supposed to beat. You know, they lost 2 games without Jalen Hurts. It's not discrediting them.
The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis, presented by FantasyAlarm.com. Weekdays at 5 Eastern on Better Sports Network.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. Joining us right now, we've got our great friend Vinnie Iyer live from Arizona today, down there for the Super Bowl, joining us on the show. For those of you that don't know Vinnie, he's an NFL and fantasy writer over at Sporting News and a host of the Locked On Network. Vinnie, thanks so much for joining us today, my friend.
Good morning, guys. It's earlier here, so I had to adjust to that.
We got him. We got him early, boys. Let's play one of our hardest
Yeah,
games.
this is early, but it's really the same time for me, body wise.
Yeah,
So it
that's
really
true.
doesn't.
Do you stay on the same schedule when you travel, Vinny? You try and like go to bed at like 6, wake up at 4?
No. I mean, I don't do that, but sometimes I just do it. It just happens.
You just wake up at 4. It's
How
just
long
like,
you been out there?
This is only the second night I've been out there, so I'm just still adjusting a little bit. But really, the biggest problem is I had to get up really early to go to the Chiefs yesterday. So,
Well, how was that? What'd you do yesterday? Did you do anything fun? I want to know.
We did a couple interesting things. The Chiefs were like, let me try to do the math here. They started like 10 a.m. Eastern time.
Okay.
It's really early to have interviews, but yeah. And then, so we did that for a while. That was not bad. I talked to Creed Humphrey. He was a cool dude.
Nice.
Sick,
Joe Thuney. Joe Thuney is really a nice guy. And Chad Henne was nicer than I expected. So
the Henster.
That's so cool, man. You got to chat with him.
Yeah, he's just
You said nicer than I expected.
Well, I just didn't know.
Because I'm with you. I would expect that, like, maybe it's unfair towards Chad Henne, but as soon as you said that, I realized the assumptions I've made about Chad Henne. I think it's because his name is Chad.
Or just that he, Michigan guy. I didn't know. Like, and then he was like, "Hey, what's up?" And he just like got up out of his chair and like shook her hand. And
that's cool, man.
Yeah, so there's some guys that are really good. There's some guys that just kind of check out, and they're sitting there. I think Frank Clark was a great example. He was just there wearing his shades and sitting, basically taking a nap on the podium. So
he was asleep behind his shades at the podium.
Not interested, Frank Clark.
Yeah, so some guys are like,
that's the thing.
They get bored. They want to talk to somebody. So you go up there and they're sitting there and they check out. They want somebody to talk to them, but actually talk to them, right?
That's a pretty good consolation prize for having to wake up super early, though, is getting to talk to Creed Humphrey and Chad Henne and Frank Clark. At least watch him take a
these
nap.
are the stars. These are clearly the stars of the Super Bowl. So really mingling with the
Creed Humphrey, dude. Creed Humphrey's definitely going to be
a star. He's a star. You're right.
He's going to be a nominee for our Hog of the Year award and probably a finalist, honestly. If I have anything to say about it, Creed Humphrey he's definitely in the top 3 Hog of the Year award for our offensive lineman award.
I was just impressed because he sounded like he was like a 12 or 15-year veteran. Like he didn't sound like he'd been in the league for a couple of years. Like it didn't sound like that at all. So I was impressed.
What was he wearing? What's Creed Humphrey wearing?
Oh, they all wear their – gosh, it's a weird thing they make them do. It's kind of like – I still don't like baseball managers wearing – why are they wearing full uniforms in the dugout? But it's like, why are you making these guys wear their jerseys on top of like some sweatshirt? And like they're all clearly in like Crocs, so they don't want to be out here. Make them wear their own stuff. Like it just like – I get why they do it so we can find them. Because otherwise you won't know who they are. But they also have tables that say, this is who this is. Like, and you know what I mean? Like, it just seems weird. And some guys just don't want to be there. So don't make those guys be there. Yeah.
I saw a picture of Creed Humphrey the other day. He was wearing like the most amazing like bowling shirt with his flowing mullet. That's why I was asking. He's got some southern style.
It's just a weird thing. But it does help. Like I can see, okay, there's what's his name it does help from that perspective. But that's why they do it. So
is there anything coming up while you're there in Arizona besides the bowl itself that you're looking forward to? Any other things over the next couple of days?
Well, I have a couple of decent interviews. I thought Brandon Marshall was pretty good yesterday. We got a chance to talk to him.
Oh, that's
Shannon
sick.
Sharp. So he had some good stuff to say, and we'll have some of that posted Sporting News later. But yeah, it's just good to see some of these guys later. Malcolm Butler is on the agenda, so catch up with him somewhere in this area. So
just piqued Coop's interest by saying Malcolm Butler. I saw him just perk up a little bit.
Dare you to ask him why?
Yeah,
he won't tell you. but
No.
you can't ask him why he didn't play, but you kind of got it.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see.
We'll never
He might be
find
over
out.
that now. So
I don't know. Imagine if, dude, Vinny, imagine if he just decided, he was like, you know what? I'm just going to tell you. And you got to break that story. Like, so that'd be so sick, bro. That'd be so sick. I'd be like, I know that guy. That's Vinny, dude. That's Foxwood Vin.
yeah. So it should be exciting. He's the Super Bowl hero from the last time they played it down here. So that's for sure.
I feel like you could pull a secret or two out of me, Vinny, if you really try.
Yeah.
If you really try.
These guys, sometimes if you ask the right question, you find them coming out and they'll be just very forthcoming with you. But you got to ask the right question.
What's your go-to question to get underneath like the small talk?
Well, here's a couple things I'll tell you that are annoying about this week. You got to sit through some people just asking, so how's this experience been like this week in the Super Bowl? What's your routine like? How does that change from a regular season game? How healthy is that ankle? How healthy is that shoulder? Oh my gosh. Like, it's the same things over and over again. Like, to ask them something where you're having a conversation, go back and forth. Like, how do you this player? Like,
right, like I could answer those questions for you, Vinny. Like, how do you? It's just like any other game. It's one more game in the season. We prepared like we did all off season. We're just doing the same thing. What got us to this point? And we've worked hard. We deserve to be here, and we're just going to go out there and play one more game. See if we can bring it home.
Like, I wanted to answer like, you know what? Weed is legal out here, so I'm going to smoke up a few times, miss practice. I'm going to do something different, totally different. Just slack off this week. And go to all the parties, try to be as hungover as possible before the game.
That's Frank Clark with his sunglasses on.
But you know what? Max McGee was good. He won Super Bowl he didn't even know he was going to play in Super Bowl I. He said, okay, I'm a backup. And so I'm going to just get wasted before the Super Bowl, just go out partying in Pasadena or wherever he was. And then it's like, Max, we need you, our starting receiver. And then what does he do? Go out while he's hungover and catch 2 touchdowns from Bart Starr, and they win the game. So, I mean,
it's like
we're just not the same anymore. We're not built the same.
It's like
I'm looking at this picture.
Coop, you told a story not too long ago about an MLB pitcher that dropped acid and then got called that he had to pitch. And he hopped on an airplane, or JL told that story. Sorry, JL. That's the classic move. Attribute your story to someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right, Vinny. A no-hitter on LSD, winning the Super Bowl, hung over off your ass. Like, we're not built the same. It doesn't happen anymore.
This guy, Max McGee, he looks like a high school principal. Like, he looks like Better Call Saul. And he's just he's just out there playing professional football. What a legend.
Yeah. I mean, granted, guy like Max McGee is probably not in the NFL as a wide receiver in 2023. I mean, let's be honest about that. But
you don't think so?
Well, yeah.
I think
he's
you're right.
One of those
dude.
big grizzled dudes. Probably like his 40 was probably, who knows, 5.4 or something. And then,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm
seriously.
I mean, back then there was the Packers receiver Don Hudson. Like, everyone says he could play at any point. Like, his numbers are incredible. Like, he was way faster than everybody else on the field. And Don Hudson, people always forget about him when they're talking like Jerry Rice and all these receivers. But this guy was just lighting it up, and he was just better than everyone else at that time.
We got Mr. Scampers in the chat saying Willie McGee was a legend. They know all about the legend of Willie McGee.
Don Hudson led the league in receptions 8 times. Like, just the best by far, right?
That's an absurd statistic. That's like
he had a ridiculous per catch average, I think, for a lot of it.
Scores every other time he gets the ball.
Yeah.
So some of those guys, I mean, like, you think about it, like Jim Thorpe, like that guy was such a freak athlete. You could find somewhere for him to play sports nowadays.
Yeah.
Vinny, who do
Jim
you
Brown would just destroy everybody, I think, if he played.
I never obviously saw Jim Brown play, but I feel like that's the narrative that gets pushed about him most often is that this dude was good enough to be a modern NFL player. This dude was good enough to be a modern NFL player. I've heard that a million times, which is the opposite of, I feel like, what you hear about even the greats from back in their day. Like you talk about some of these quarterbacks that killed it back in their day. People aren't saying Joe Montana would be the best quarterback in the NFL right now, right? But they say that about Jim Brown.
Yeah.
See it.
Story's different. Vinny, who do you you're out there in Arizona, you're getting a feel for what these teams are doing. Who do you think's going to win the Super Bowl? Do you have a pick?
Yeah, I've been leaning toward the Eagles. I just think complete team. I think they're the more complete team. And part of it, I wrote about this as well, is the Super Bowl MVP hasn't won, or I'm sorry, the NFL MVP hasn't won the Super Bowl since 1999, 2000. So, and it's, all these things are very similar. I mean, there were a couple guys that had some success, but every time, if that player was amazing and they had a great offense, they pretty much got shut down by the better defense. And that's happened a lot. I mean, a couple times there was an exception, but there was still defense involved where you had Matt Ryan. He had a big first half in Super Bowl 51 against the Patriots, but bad second half, really bad. So they did figure out defense, and I think there were some turnovers in that game or fluke things that happened that got the Falcons up 28-3. So, but everyone else, I mean, you look at it going back, I mean, Peyton Manning twice. You had the Tracy Porter interception. You had the just absolute destruction by Malcolm Smith and Legion of Boom in that other Super Bowl. And then his defense won him one against Cam Newton when they were all MVPs. So, like Peyton Manning lost twice as MVP, and crazy that Tom Brady also lost twice when he had won MVP. So that's pretty incredible that MVPs. It kind of it makes sense if you start to think about it. It's an individual award, and that means you carried a team that wasn't maybe as good, and then you're facing the team that is maybe complete in the Super Bowl, and that team whips you. So, and I think you can see it. Super Bowl 55 too. Really, I know he wasn't the MVP that year, but I mean that Bucs defense crushed Mahomes in that offense really easily.
Yeah, it does make sense from that perspective. Whenever we talk about like the best fantasy quarterbacks, we do talk about the defense connected to them, right? Like it is beneficial to have a bad defense connected to a decent quarterback. It elevates them. Like Jared Goff, part of the reason we loved him for fantasy going into this year, obviously not as much as we should have probably, was that Detroit Lions defense. We didn't expect it to be good. Makes sense.
Yeah, when Jalen Hurts just smashes all that by being great. He can run, he can pass, whatever the situation. Fantasy every single game, so that was a lot of fun to watch.
So you don't agree with Robbie Gould's assessment that if you make Jalen Hurts play quarterback, the defense is going to have a good day?
I don't even know what that means. Like Jalen Hurts is still playing quarterback when he's running the ball. That's still playing quarterback.
Like, such a stupid thing to say.
Well, I think he would. Like they are. I will tell you this. All of the 49ers here are not enjoying it. They think they should have been here.
Yeah, we've seen that from players.
That's some insider info for you guys that a couple of colleagues of mine have run into Christian McCaffrey and Nick Bosa. They were at the NFL Honors, and they were just flying through there. They didn't want to be there. Clearly, they didn't want to have anything to do with Arizona after not making it. But I'll give you a clue on two guys that were just having fun and soaking it up. There's one pretty obvious one.
George Kittle.
Yeah. Well, we saw him I don't know what that was all about. Like I watched the clip later.
The Kelly Clarkson thing.
Yeah, I don't know what that was about. And apparently he was singing down the red carpet too. A couple colleagues were covering that. So pretty much he was in that mood the whole way. Like he was just positivity, sunshine, fun the whole time. So
he's great.
He was the one guy, and then Brock Purdy was the other guy. So like, I'm just happy to be here. But also, he's from Arizona, so he had to be here, I guess. Probably just visiting family, hanging out.
He probably is just happy to be there. I bet he didn't imagine that little run that he had at the end of the season in a million years after he got drafted.
I can understand if you're a 49ers veteran player and you're getting salty because it was just frustrating, right? You didn't have really a shot against the Eagles, and you want to say they're overrated or whatnot, but you can't say that anymore. I mean, they're in the Super Bowl. It's not their fault that you guys lost your quarterback. Like, they did what they needed to do to win the game. They didn't mess around. They said, okay, we're just going to win this game and take care of it early, right? They didn't say, we're going to let you hang around with your bad quarterback situation. We're going to put you away. We're just going to put you out of misery where the second half doesn't even matter. And that's what they did.
They're directing the salt the wrong direction. Know what I mean? I understand being disappointed, but like they're also making like the massive assumption that even if Brock Purdy played, that the game would have turned out differently. I bet the Eagles still win that game, even if Brock Purdy plays the whole time. It would have been closer for sure, but I still think the Eagles come out on top in that one.
Yeah. Things happen. 49ers are going to get over it.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. It's good.
I saw a comment on Reddit yesterday talking about this 49ers team. They're like, this is the kind of game that either creates an unstoppable force next year as they're on a revenge mission, or they can never quite get over this loss and things start falling apart. And I love buying into the narrative that like this loss, like it's affecting them so deep. It's going to take them one of two ways. Like, are they going to be able to use it as motivation, or are they going to be bitter about this to a point where it affects their like motivation going into next season?
Yeah.
Yeah. You never know how the team's going to respond, but Kyle Shanahan, I mean, that guy has been through some things, right? 28-3, blowing the lead in the fourth quarter against the Chiefs.
He has seen some things.
Yeah. So like there's been a lot of disappointment for a lot of success that Kyle Shanahan has had, and they keep coming back and they keep trying to win. So I think they're just so talented at this point in their current state that it's really hard to expect them to fall off. And they have some mentally tough guys. They could have just checked out after that Super Bowl against the Chiefs and just fallen apart, and they did the next year, but they got hurt. But once they were healthy last couple of years, I mean, they've been like the 49ers that we know, and they're just used to being in the championship game. So maybe that's it. Disappointments over 2 years that they might be losing to the eventual Super Bowl champion in the NFC Championship game.
Yeah. Well, Vinny, I got to ask you. So I know you like the Eagles to win this. If the Chiefs are going to win, what do they got to do? Well,
two guys I really like. I'll tell you. Yeah, two guys I really like in fantasy based on what I'm thinking about this game is number one is AJ Brown. I think there's no way they don't feed AJ Brown a lot in this game. He's been kind of quiet in the playoffs. If he's double teamed, they're not going to care. Remember that Titans game where two guys were trying to bring him down and he just put the ball in his hands, I think one-handed. Like, they got to throw him the ball and get him going. Like, I get Devonta Smith is good, and he's really good, and you got Dallas Goedert, but AJ Brown, you got him for this reason, right? Go out and use him. So I think he can have a big game. Then the Chiefs side, you've mentioned who's key and what's key. I think it's Isaiah Pacheco. You got to run this guy because you look at all the numbers. The Eagles not great against the run. We know that. That's how they got beat against the Commanders. The other thing was that the Chiefs are really underrated as a running team. Like, this is what this kind of puzzles me a little bit. You got the aforementioned Creed Humphrey, Joe Thuney, Trey Smith. This is the strength of your team, like in the middle of your offensive line. And the team that you're facing had 70 sacks. So why wouldn't you pound them inside with the running game and just wear them down in the game? Like, that's the problem, though. That's not Andy Reid's DNA. That's not Patrick Mahomes' DNA. They want to throw 45, 50 times, even if they're completing 6-yard passes, right? And they still want to do that. Where if they turn around and hand it to Isaiah Pacheco 20 times, like, they're going to have to stay in the game to do that, so they can't let the Eagles get too far ahead. But, like, they can have success doing that. So they got to run the ball. If they forget to run the ball, it's over. There's no way you can win dropping back 40 or 50 times against the Eagles.
That's the trick is you run it up the middle, make them think twice about sending those pass rushers flying up on the outside, right? Because it's like if there's no run game, then you can let the pass rushers run wild. But if they're gashing you up the middle, now maybe you can't go so crazy on the pass rush, you know? So I feel you on that, Vinny. I think that's a under talked about is how important the Chiefs running game is going to be.
Yeah. And I'm with you, Vinny. I'm on the Eagles side of this game, but I see the path for the Chiefs. Coop and JL are on the Chiefs side. So next week, we'll see who's got the bragging rights, who was correct in that one. Team Vyman or Team Jupe? Pick your side now. Guys,
Okay.
Vinny, I want to thank you so
Make
much for
that
taking the
stick
time
for
to come
next
on and
week,
talk
yeah.
with us.
We'll work on the team names.
Yeah.
Vinny, thank you so much for taking the time to come up and hang out with us while you're out there in Arizona.
Yeah, hopefully I provided some insight today. It's early.
Of course, dude.
Yeah.
Always,
Yeah.
buddy. Thanks, Vin. You're the man. Have fun out there, dude.
Appreciate you, brother. Yeah, enjoy it.
Our man on the
All right, thanks,
inside.
guys. See ya.
See you, Vinny. And everyone,
Enjoy
go
the game.
follow our friend Vinny on Twitter at Vinnie Iyer. That is VINNIEIYER. And you can check out his work over at Sporting News. We are going to be right back with our friend Tim to play some hypothetically and make some Super Bowl predictions. So stick around. You're watching the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Better Sports Network is sponsored by Lucra.
Now being joined by Dylan Robbins, the CEO of Lucra.
Lucra is a unique new platform, but it really has a basis and a very simple idea is that we think that people want to bet with their friends, right? Our product is built off the fact that the casual fan is at the bar or at their buddy's house and they're putting $5 on the game and they're doing it on Venmo. And I think that there's a huge opportunity to open the market up to all these casual fans. A lot of people who feel boxed out by the traditional sports books because they're too complicated or there's complex jargon. They don't understand the lines or the spreads. And so Lucra's goal is to just make it simple. And our favorite way of doing that is we just connect you directly with your friends. So it's a social platform. It's peer-to-peer. We're not the house. We don't take any risk on these wagers. We just are a marketplace to kind of connect you with your friends directly to engage. So it started as just a business for sports. We've expanded outside of sports now. We offer 150 recreational games from cornhole to beer pong to darts to Wordle to Peloton, you name it. You can challenge your friends now on Lucra. And you've got all the gaming and tracking and stats and leaderboards to go with it to make it fun. So it's a bit about what we do, and excited to chat with you guys about it today.
What's the future growth of Lucra?
Good question. I think for us, it's really the expansion outside of sports. I think that we've proven that sports is a great model. We've got a ton of great customers who love our sports product, but we're really paving the way or really innovating on this recreational game side of our business as we think about all these unique categories and areas where people are competing. Spike ball, pickleball, all these things that are blowing up across the globe right now. Lucra is the first real way where people can bet with their friends on these games. And so we're getting a lot of new customers from that, a lot of brand awareness from that. I think we're just trying to iterate that product, make it more fun, make it easier. But we're going to keep our ethos the same, casual, social, and fun. That's what Lucra's about. Our average contest is $10. This is not about bankrupting your friends. It's not about winning big and paying your rent. It's about the magic of the moment and making that moment better by having $5 on the line. If you ever played a round of golf on Sunday or watched a football game, you guys get it. You put a few bucks on it. It just changes the way you interact with that game. You watch it longer. You spend more money there. And it gives us a lot of time for us to, a lot of opportunity for us to partner with other brands because of that.
Better Sports Network is sponsored by Lucra. Winning is fun, and beating your friends is even better. Download the Lucra app today to challenge your friends and win money.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. Joining us right now is our friend Tim Wright to talk about this Super Bowl, make some predictions, and then get into some hypothetically as well. What's up, Tim? Go, baby! Let's go!
Super Bowl weekend. I'm excited.
So, Tim, I'm a little bit unsure. Who are you rooting for this weekend?
As much as I hate to say it, growing up in Jersey, the Eagles fans were never my favorite, but I'm embracing it this weekend. I'm an Eagles fan this weekend, as dirty as that could be. Let's go.
Dirty and that could be.
Not showering all weekend.
I see you're growing out the stash to look a little extra dirty.
It's the full thing.
God, that is hot, Tim.
I know that has a fancy name.
Was it like the Chester MacArthur or whatever it's
whatever it is. The Chester A. MacArthur.
Yeah.
Coop, I think you are muted. Otherwise, I'm sure you knew the name of it. Oh, and it looks like it's not your fault. It is. You are muted. There we go.
Testing.
A plus.
I say that's the Smudge Peterson.
The Smudge Peterson.
The Smudge Peterson. I whenever I see a mustache or facial hair I don't recognize, I immediately want to call it the Fu Manchu because I don't know what that is, but I know it's a facial
Fu
hair.
Manchu's like I was about to use a movie reference. It's the
Well,
one where it goes like this but goes down.
It goes down, yeah.
All
So
the way
his
down.
his is actually a Fu Manchu, but he glued it on here for the time being.
he just pinned it back. He pinned it back onto the back of your ears.
Unhook it and let it ride for a little bit.
That's a hilarious
Absolutely.
thought.
This is actually the rest of the Fu Manchu. It goes all the way up and back down.
you just hung it over your ears.
Yeah.
My dad did have a friend growing up that was like a legend in my mind because I had never seen facial hair like his. He didn't have a mustache or a beard, but he had sideburns down to here. Like he just grew these sideburns out that were these long, and he was like this badass dude who would come over and he was like this legend in my mind. I just never met another human with facial hair like that. And like every time I heard about him, he was like this enigma. Like, who is Ernie?
It's crazy.
It's the same. Is it the same Earn Dog?
Probably is, dude.
234 said, "Do you drink Coors Light, Tim?"
I will. It's PBR right now. I think that's close enough.
That's close
same
enough.
thing. It ain't silver bullet, but it'll be.
Give me a PBR over Coors any day, but it's the same thing.
It's still 9. It's still 9 in the morning. You got to start with a PBR.
Yeah,
come on, don't be ridiculous.
Yeah, breakfast beer. I'm classy.
So much more than just tobacco.
Could I blind taste test the difference between the two? Probably not. But do I have a strong opinion about preferring PBR? Absolutely.
There are certain beers that I could blind taste test, not because they're better or worse, but they have a very distinct flavor. Like, I feel
like a sour versus Miller Lite.
You know what's funny is that I was gonna say Miller Lite has very distinct flavor, like
beer flavor,
old
beer
chip.
flavor.
Say old chip.
Yeah, just like old Dorito, old like Fritos.
Yeah,
Frat house floor.
Liquid
That's what
bread.
that smells like.
Busch Light tastes like regrettable college decisions.
There's nothing quite like that. That feeling where your shoe sticks to the floor just a half a second too long.
And it's after it's been cleaned.
Yep. Yep. After it's been mopped. Yep.
By some poor freshman pledge.
Who's never seen a mop in his life. He thinks it's a broom.
Have you guys seen the videos where they do the blind taste test where they have like the cardboard set up and you stick all the straws in and try to tell the difference between what's under there? We should do one of those with the like shitty beers and see if we can tell the difference. Let's try it.
Ooh, I'm gonna write that
We
down.
have to use straws though.
Yeah, you have to use a straw. I saw one the other day though where this poor grandfather, somebody did it to their grandfather and put like very different things under there, like carrot juice, Diet Coke, and he thought all of them were water. Every single one.
Which is awesome. That dude. If I was that dude, I would just only drink healthy things. Like at that point, it's like, all right, dude.
You can drink prune juice because everything's water, baby.
Dude, that happened to me. I lost my sense of taste when I was like, I don't know, maybe 13. And I'm sitting there at a restaurant with my sister, and she's just like, eat that. Like, take a big bite of coleslaw, which I didn't like or didn't eat at the time. She's like, eat that. Take a big spoonful of pepper. She's just eating everything.
I mean, that's what I did when I had COVID. Like the day 3, I was like, I literally just took like frozen vegetables and I put them into a pan and made them mildly warm, and that's what I ate. Like it was like, who cares?
Tim, what are you looking to? What's your food situation looking like this weekend?
I got a friend who's making up
Eat your
some
friend?
pigs in a blanket. Yeah, gonna eat my friend.
Tim,
Eat the pigs.
I hate to cut you off here. Is that friend putting all of the little wieners into one giant blanket?
Oh, here we go.
Or are they going into individual blankets?
It could be multiple. You don't know me.
Okay, I'm just wondering if you meant to say pigs in a blanket or if you're referring to pigs in blankets.
Sassy nonsense out of here, dude.
Do you happen to have
It's going to turn into a little hot pocket full of hot dogs.
Okay, then that's fine. I have no preference either way because I'm not going to eat a pigs in blankets or pigs in a blanket.
Yeah, but you just a brown paper bag filled with hot dogs.
You only need one little thingy cut in half, wrapped in one little blanket to make it right. You're being rude, Simon. You're being way too picky on this.
I'm being pedantic, but it's the thing. It's my chosen pedantry is pigs in blankets.
Fair enough.
Everyone gets one. That's mine.
Yes, we all.
That's what I'll continue bringing up. Tommy said, Simon, you just blew my mind. Tommy, get ready to be annoying before every major sporting event for the rest of your life.
Also, every single hot dog is made up of a bunch of pigs, dude. So relax.
I mean, if you think of it that way, if you think of it that way, right? Like then one hot dog is
pig mush.
One hot dog is pigs, and then one roll is the blanket, so that one individual one is pigs in a blanket, and then you can have as many pigs in a blankets as you want.
If I gave you 4 slices of pizza from 4 different pizzas and said I'm giving you 4 pizzas, you would call me a liar afterwards. And that's what that hot dog is. You're just taking chunks from a bunch of different pigs and putting it into one thing and saying this is multiple pigs.
But if if it's like hamburger pizza, pepperoni, veggie style, that's 4 different pizzas.
If you gave me 4 slices of pizza, then I wouldn't say you gave me 4 pizzas. I would say you gave me pizza.
Okay, I agree with that statement. So if I gave you a hot dog, you would not say I gave you 4 pigs.
Yeah, but one pizza is you could say the same. Pizza's an enigma. Any amount of pizza is pizza, or it could be pizzas.
And pigs in a blanket is the same way. Any amount of pigs in a blanket is pigs in a blanket.
Look at that group of pig over there.
Exactly.
Okay, how about this, Coop? Let's say you wanted your best friend to come over to watch the football game. Okay, you want one of your best friends to come over. We'll say it that way.
Too bad they don't live in your state.
Well, here's what's going to happen instead: is 5 of your best friends are going to chop off a finger, put it into a single box, and mail it to you, and then say, "Here's one friend."
Sounds terrible.
That's exactly the same as a hot dog. That is not multiple pigs.
I would
It's a little bit different.
I would, if that happened,
terrifying.
If that happened, I would.
Fingers and blankets.
If that happened, I would just be happy that 5 of my friends showed up to the party.
Oh, you guys!
Who do you think's gonna win?
You didn't have to get me anything.
Bloody finger.
I just make a bunch.
Are you
of weird
flipping me
pictures.
off?
Like a bunch of weird pictures with fingers pointing at me. I'm like, huh? Did I do that?
And I'm like, I go to eat a pig. I go to eat one of the pigs in a blanket, and my wife is like, "Careful, you're about to eat Dave." And I look down and it's not a
Tim
pig.
puts them on on each of his own fingers so that he has little fingers on his fingers.
And you say, "Actually, honey, because all the fingers came in the same box. This is Dave, Jim, Tom, Stu, and Craig."
Yep.
All I know is I lost track of the argument, but I'm on Tim's side.
Yeah. All right.
That's fair. Well, Tim's on my side
Buckle
for the
up.
next question in the Super Bowl predictions that we're getting into here.
That's
I
right.
can tell by his lights, I can tell by his words, and I can tell by his dirty, beautiful mustache that we both think the Eagles are going to win this game. And Coop and JL, you said earlier that you were on the Chiefs side. Are you sticking with that, or have you changed your mind because of Tim's mustache?
Listen, Tim's mustache can make me change my mind on a lot of things. And the Super Bowl is one of them. I'm going Eagles, baby. Let's go.
I'm rooting for I want the Eagles to win. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I do not want the Chiefs to win. I'm tired of the Chiefs winning. I want the Eagles to win, but I think the Chiefs are going to win.
Tired of the Chiefs winning, like they've won I feel like the Eagles and the Chiefs have won the same number of Super Bowls recently.
I'm tired of them winning football games.
Just in general.
Just winning life.
Just winning life. Do their two.
Man, I feel bad now. Coop's all alone. I'm going to have to circle back.
No, I was going to say, I'm on Coop's side. I don't think the Eagles are going to win. I just want them to win. I want Jalen Hurts to win a Super Bowl so badly.
See what I'm saying?
All right. I'll just keep
what I'm
turning
saying?
and we're heading over to you, Simon.
But I will give you one narrative that I've been thinking a lot about, that if the Eagles do this, I would love for them to do it. Pull the old, it's kind of a surprise move. You guys want to hear it?
No, sorry. But if I get outvoted, I'll listen.
I'll let him know if it's interesting.
All right. So Simon, take your headphones out. I'm about to say my surprise move. So here's what I want to see from the Eagles. All year long, the 2 outside corners have been dominating. James Bradbury, Darius Slay. They've been crushing. They held the Giants wide receivers. I know it was Darius Slayton and Isaiah Hodgins, but they held those guys, the 2 outside receivers, to 7 yards on 7 targets. Yeah, rough. So here's what I would want to see. Those 2 guys have been playing outside all year, to the point where James Bradbury on the entire season, including the playoffs, only has 10 snaps in the slot, and Darius Slay only has 5. They do not go inside. I would love to see the Eagles this week, after a whole season of a specific game plan, come out and do their thing. But then the first third down rolls around, and all of a sudden, boom, James Bradbury and Darius Slay go and just lock onto Travis Kelce, Juju Smith-Schuster, and the Chiefs are like, whoa, we have never seen this. And now the Chiefs are forced to throw it to Marcus Valdes-Scantling, Sky Moore. You just all of a sudden you say, hey, you know what? These are our best cover guys. We're putting them on your best guys. I don't care where they line up. I would love to see that. And if the Eagles did that, I would immediately switch over to Team Eagles.
I started listening about halfway through there, and I'm assuming I just missed the part where you mentioned Justin Watson. Otherwise, that would be a little bit disrespectful to ignore
Super Bowl
someone
MVP
like
Justin
that on the outside, right?
That's true. Just super megastar Justin Watson, who went a heroic 4-game span with 8 targets and 0 catches. I mean, you're gonna
do it.
Somebody's got to be out there playing a ton of snaps and doing
What a
a whole
team
lot
player.
of nothing.
I love Charles in the chat saying won't happen. Coop just
No.
laid out that whole thing, and Charles goes, nah.
Nope.
The thing is that it hasn't happened. It hasn't happened. But like, if they're just lining up outside, covering Marcus Valdes-Scantling and Justin Watson and doing nothing, and then Travis Kelce's crushing them over the middle over and over and over, I mean, might be time for a little bit of a halftime adjustment. You know what I'm saying?
They're a myth. They're a lie. There's no such thing. Remember, Payton revealed the truth to us.
Yeah, that's true. There's no adjustments.
I love how people took that statement to mean there's no adjustments and not, we're busy at halftime. We're adjusting constantly, not like
Right.
people saw
Nope.
it there.
We're good.
We have our game plan. We're sticking to it. Also, Charles saying Kelce isn't getting shut down no matter who covers him. Coop, you see that as a possibility? Slay and Bradbury do what you're saying they do, and Kelce still just eats.
You put 100.
I mean,
They're going to be able to stop him, probably.
I don't know. The thing is, every team, every week, we expect them to be like, okay, they have this one guy who keeps getting open, and Kelce still continues to get open. He is like,
Because it's an NFL conspiracy, dude. I'm fully embracing the Charlie Day aspect of my Philadelphia Eagles side. It's the Chiefs are going to win just because it's Patrick Mahomes in State Farm Arena. They cherry picked from the start. This season is for the Chiefs. That's
Fully
the only
scripted.
reason. Kelce being open is just an American tragedy. It doesn't make any sense. He does the same thing every single time. He's just in the middle and nobody's around him. It's like,
I can't
just cover him. Like,
you gotta put.
It's the same play. I
If you're gonna
can't
put
not
somebody
think
on
of, can't not think of Travis Kelce as the lead character in 300 now. I feel like we need to reboot that movie, recast
Is
it.
300 the movie that I tried to watch multiple times and fell asleep in our living room watching?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I've seen the first 5 minutes of 300 like 4 or 5 times.
He's got a Russell Crowe vibe.
Just Kelce out there, dude. That's Gladiator, is Russell Crowe.
He's got a guy who looks like Russell Crowe vibe.
He's just out there, like, like in the woods by himself with a spear, fighting a wolf, and it's like
With Leonardo DiCaprio.
And Mahomes is doing the narration.
Oh God, the narration.
It had been nearly 30 years since the wolf and the winter cold.
Travis Kelce's never been to the woods.
Gerard
Got a
Butler.
little
300 was
Kiwi
Gerard
there.
Butler. Charles Kang is on top of us today. He's got all the corrections. It was Gerard Butler. That was the 300.
And he said, I definitely misspelled his first name. Gerard, close enough. I didn't notice, Charles, till you pointed it out.
Gerard Butler.
To be honest, I've never met a Gerard or a Gerard in real life, so that name doesn't come up very often.
It's totally real name, Gerard Butler.
We got Gator J in the chat from Fantasy Intervention saying also Kelce greater than NFL DBs. So maybe James Bradbury isn't going to stop Travis Kelce. But if I'm the Eagles, I'm looking at it and I'm saying, dude, this is, he's 6'1", 210. So Bradbury's not necessarily small. So you can basically say, hey, you're our best cover guy. Will you just try and stop this guy, please? Just like, you got to do something.
Every time I hear James Bradbury, I feel like there was an old YouTuber, like one of the awful like prank channel YouTubers that would like go around and be like, kissing pranks gone wild, and they were like 150 bracelets, and they're like going on the street and like clearly staging events where they're like, let's play rock paper scissors, and if you lose, you have to kiss me. And I swear his name was James Bradbury. And so every time I hear that, I immediately think like cringy bracelet wearing YouTuber and not elite NFL player.
I know exactly what you're talking about, and I'm pretty sure that dude like stopped doing that stuff and started just like dressing up as Spider-Man.
Yes, the next
You're thinking of Ethan Bradbury.
Ethan Bradbury. Is that it? Is that who it is? Okay.
100%.
So the Bradbury was correct.
The star of cringe YouTube.
Oh God, that was so him, Ethan Bradbury. Oh, and I've seen him
Actually
dressed as Spider-Man now.
To be the boss of cringe YouTube. That's quite a crew to be the king of. Yeah.
I would do it.
You ever go down just like cringe YouTube rabbit holes?
I mean, I just named Ethan Bradbury, so clearly I've been to the depths of cringe YouTube.
Well, guys, we should make some more of these predictions. We've all decided now who we think is going to win the game. And Tim, for some reason, I had already written Kansas City for you, even though I said Eagles out loud. You must have communicated it to me subconsciously before you did the rug pull. But I wanted to hit some more of these props. Maybe we'll hit some of the more fun ones. Here is one who will be shown first during the national anthem. The betting odds favorite is Travis Kelce at -185. AJ Brown is at +140. You could pick a different player as well, but between those two guys, those are the two with the best odds. Tim, who's going to be shown first during the national anthem?
Between those two, it's got to be Kelce.
Fit your narrative, your State Farm Chiefs season narrative.
Yeah, it does. AJ Brown, as much as we all know him, I don't think the casual fan knows him as well. I think more people know Kelce just from over the years.
Yeah,
so I think
that's definitely more like just facial recognition, probably.
Exactly. Yeah, if they're going to do that, it's him.
Do you win the bet if they do two players at the same time, like a side by side?
That's a good question.
Because I would not be surprised at all. In fact, I would be surprised if they didn't do a side by side of Travis Kelce and his brother Jason.
I thought Jason would be the first one they show. That was my initial thought, and I was like, I don't know. And I see Charles in the chat thought the same thing. I think they'll go quarterback though.
Yeah.
I think Jason Kelce will be shown. I just don't know if it'll be shown first.
New drinking game. Drink every time they mention that Jason and Travis Kelce are brothers.
Is that? They've been doing something.
Monday morning.
They've been doing something the last like 6 months. Like it just feels like they've been like whoever's their publicist is really doing good work.
That's what I'm saying. They're like the #1 show on Spotify for like
very
sports.
talked about right now. Yeah,
is manufactured in a lab.
100%.
2-3-4 is the first person to show on camera is going to be Creed Humphrey.
They're
going to go straight for the mullet.
Coop just
right
randomly
away.
sent us a photo the other day in the middle of the day. It was just a picture and it just said Creed Humphrey.
Dude, he is the best.
No,
that was the one with like the bowling shirt. It looks like the shirt he's wearing looks like wallpaper in like your grandmother's like house that, you know, it's like nobody had been in the cat room in like 30 years, and you go in there and it's like, whoa, what is this wallpaper? Like that's what Creed Humphrey's
cat room. The cat room.
That's just the room where the cats go, and then you only open it up to let the cats out.
Oh,
when you sent that picture, I looked at it and I was like, oh, what a ridiculous outfit. Like, but sick. Like, what a cool outfit. And then I looked in the mirror and I realized I got a bowling shirt for Christmas, and I'm walking around with this like same stupid hairdo, just not shaved on the sides. And I'm like laughing at like, oh, what a crazy outfit. And like, I've worn that exact same thing 4 times
in the
this
mirror,
month.
drops his phone.
Oh
no,
I'm the problem. It's me.
I am Creed.
Tommy said, did they show Jason or Travis first? JL's going with the combo at the same time. I like that idea.
Coop was saying the split.
Dude, now you're just misappropriating quotes. Yeah, now it's fair. Now we're even.
Now we have 1-1.
1-1. And
possession arrow Tim's way.
Heck yeah. Let's go. What do I win? Let's play.
Nothing yet, but if there's a tie, it goes your way.
Woo! All right.
For the Super Bowl halftime show, there is a prop for the color of Rihanna's first outfit. There's a bunch of different options. Black being the most likely at +115, orange being the least likely at +1800. They've got like silver, gray, other colors like that in there as well. Tim, what color do you think her first outfit is going to be?
It's going to be black, and she's going to look incredible. I cannot wait. I think she's going to start off with umbrella. Fantastic.
I think she's going to start off with "Bitch Better Have My Money" wearing a gold dress. That is my prediction. She's going to come out wearing gold, singing "Bitch Better Have My Money." Coop, what do you think?
I'd say that there's about a 0 chance she comes out singing "Bitch Better Have My Money."
It's a plus 350 for the first song.
Really?
Yeah.
I think she comes out with that song "Diamonds."
Okay, that's sitting at plus 400. And what color outfit is she wearing? You going with like the silver, match the theme?
It's gonna be sparkly.
White?
It's gonna be sparkly. She's gonna come out with the sparkliness, hit with the sparkliness, and then at the end, and that's where the whole mood changes and it goes just wild. Now, do you guys think or JL, you gotta do yours first, right?
On the first one?
Yeah. What do you think?
I think she's gonna go. I think she's gonna go nice and chalk. She's gonna go "We Found Love."
What color dress is she wearing? Or outfit?
what color
It doesn't have
dress?
to be a dress.
I think she's gonna go. Ooh, I think she's gonna go purple. No, silver.
Silver. Okay. Silver's sitting there at the third best odds at plus 600. Black at plus 15, like I mentioned. Gold at plus 525. Diamonds was at plus 400. Tim, what song did you say she was going to open with?
Umbrella, baby.
Plus 800 for Umbrella to be the opening song.
Good guess.
Wow, that's so. What song is the best odds? It's not Umbrella.
Don't Stop the Music at minus 160 is the song that has the best odds.
Pretty good one. Pretty good.
Do you think she's coming out with any other artists?
She has to.
Are they going to pop up?
They usually do, right?
Without a doubt, there has to
They
be.
haven't
other
announced anybody though, which is crazy.
Who do you want to pop
keep
up?
that a secret.
Donald Glover.
Oh, that'd
be
be
cool.
Sick.
Weird.
I just think they did a movie together, like on Amazon. I don't know where my brain first went.
Donald Glover would be amazing, dude.
Rihanna.
Pretty much my whole halftime concert that I scripted. Dua Lipa would be awesome. I don't know where she's at.
When we did the Dream halftime Super Bowl halftime roster.
The best.
Her and Katy Perry used to be friends. Rihanna and Katy Perry, but they're like not friends, like notably now. But they used to be like best buds. It would be great if this was the reunion. Katy Perry comes out on stage and they reveal their friends again.
It's Drake and Katy Perry.
Katy Perry shows up. What are those odds? Katy Perry shows up and they get into a fist fight.
Minus 130.
Plus infinity.
The best possible one would be Kanye West shows up, but he's not even supposed to be there. Like he just finds his way on the stage.
That would be wild.
It would probably take over the most controversial halftime show over Janet Jackson's Nip Slip if Kanye West unannounced, like to everyone, snuck his way onto stage.
Yeah, but he'd somehow still have cameras on him going up to it.
Of course.
It takes over the screens.
Oh my
Kevin
God.
Donkey
That would
says,
be
talk that talk or we riot. And they said, out comes Jay-Z. Jay-Z would be sweet.
dude.
That would be pretty sweet.
I don't think he's ever done it, but like, can you just imagine?
He turned him down.
He turned him down, but just imagine if he decides this time is going to come out, and you all of a sudden you just hear, "Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Hov," and then like you got to beat that, dude.
He wouldn't come out when his wife did it, but for Rihanna, he'll make an exception.
That sounds right. That sounds right. He's in the area. I mean, when you're Jay-Z, you can be anywhere you want. Anyway.
Yeah, the entire universe is your area if you're Jay-Z.
No, I saw him give daps to Shannon Sharp the other day, so anything's possible.
I'm trying to think of artists that like are close to Rihanna or would be in there, and I found a list of artists that she's done collaborations with. DJ Khaled could show up. She's done collaborations with him. Imagine him just showing up on stage screaming, "We the best," and then walking off stage, just one "We the best," and then getting out of there.
I think I'd turn it off. I have no choice.
Future, Drake,
Pink or Paramore would be fun. Paramore's been pretty popular recently.
If they bring on DJ Khaled, they got to bring on Bryson Tiller, and they got to do Wild Thoughts because that song is fire.
Lonely Island. She did a song with Lonely Island, I think.
They would never,
that would be incredible.
They would never bring Lonely Island out on the stage at the Super Bowl halftime show.
In 10 seconds, Scoop's going to mention Weird Al.
No, I already said Weird Al like 3 times. Like the Super Bowl, though, you gotta factor in the corniness. Like it's never like what we want. Like it's probably gonna be like Maroon 5 and Slash.
Last year was what I wanted. Last year was like a
Last year was
blew me
pretty
away.
sick.
I wasn't even. I already had high expectations going into last year, and then they still exceeded those.
I just feel bad for the other half of the stadium.
Yeah, I know, right? Just looking at butts.
Yeah.
Also, Keith coming in saying 2 people that are performing in Arizona this weekend already for concerts are Ludacris and Cardi B.
Oh, Luda would be amazing, bro. I love Luda.
I was watching one of the old Comedy Central roasts recently, and Pete Davidson was up there talking, and Snoop and Ludacris were in the crowd, and they were like, Snoop and Ludacris are here. If I was 38, I'd be so excited. And Ludacris just like Snoop lost it laughing, and like Ludacris got a little mad for a second, and then just like started nodding his head. He's like, "You're right, you got me." Like, but he like reacted for a second. I just loved his reaction. Snoop was a good sport, and Ludacris had to think about whether or not he was going to be a good sport about it.
I
It was
love
pretty
that.
good. Guys, coming up, we are going to play some hypothetically here. Tim, our hypothetically ringer, we're bringing in the big guns before the Super Bowl today. Right now, you're watching the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Moose and Keith, weekdays at 10 a.m. Eastern on Better Sports Network.
Baby J just wrote in the chat as we went to break that Nick Sirianni is the most punchable face in the NFL.
I think
I don't see it.
Well, yeah, I think people are bothered, and you saw the Giants bothered by the fact of how he was acting and his antics, and I'm growing a little tired of Kayvon Thibodeau on social media. Everybody
he's bothering me a little bit.
Well, everybody that criticizes Kayvon Thibodeau, he's basically he basically tells you, I don't know who you are, whether it be Jeff Saturday or whether it be Joe Staley.
Yeah.
Julian Love last week going on Good Morning Football on the NFL Network and saying Sirianni's in for a free ride. Just look how talented that team is. Well, I mean, I think it's a little unfair. If you're a Giant or you're a member or you are a fan of the Giants, you went in there on that Saturday night and you got embarrassed.
Doesn't it feel like sour grapes, right? Like it just feels like
you
guys beat me up, so now I'm just going to try to find a way to beat you down.
So, and if you're Kayvon Thibodeau, enough, shut up. I mean, you're on social media. Enough with the fact that anybody that rips you or criticizes you or going out there and saying or ripping the 49ers who didn't have a quarterback in the NFC Championship game and saying, well, we could have done a better job than what San Francisco is doing. Well, they didn't have a quarterback. And then Joe Staley calls them out. And then I got to have Michael Strahan tag teaming and jumping in and, and ripping Joe Staley. The fact that Michael Strahan got 2.5 sacks on him during his rookie year, where Joe Staley was critical of what Kayvon Thibodeau did this year. I mean, are we serious here?
Yeah, that's what we're doing here.
I mean, this is really what it's coming down to. I mean, why not hold the young man accountable and say, no, listen, zip it, enough. Like you don't need to comment on everything, nor do I care. Yeah. You're not Micah Parsons. You're not Lawrence Taylor. You're none of those.
But
things.
He thinks he is.
Well, but that's the problem. He's not.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not. And I would say he has a long way to go to ever
and maybe he becomes one of the best. He could.
I mean, it's possible. Do I think he's ever going to be Micah Parsons? I don't.
I don't. He's talented.
He's talented. I'm not telling you he's not going to have a successful NFL career. But everybody that criticizes him, he says, I don't know who you are. Well, why don't you look up and have for the men that played in this league before you and what they accomplished in this league, that the league didn't start the day that you stepped foot in the National Football League. And sometimes there's reasons why people are going to go out there. And if you're going to make comments as stupid as he did in the NFC Championship game, you understand that you're going to get called out for it. And if you get called out for being dopey, don't all of a sudden respond with, I don't know who you are.
Moose and Keith, weekdays at 10 a.m. Eastern on Better Sports Network.
Oi! What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. I know we were talking all about Rihanna in the halftime show, but it's time to shift gears into some hypothetically real quick. Before we do that, we had a couple song additions from the chat that I wanted to hit on. Tommy here saying Ponder Replay with Shaggy is by far her best song, number one. That would be wild. To have Shaggy come out during the show.
Oh my God. If Shaggy comes out, I want him to do like 3 of his own songs though, right?
That would be awesome. And then 234 in here is saying Pretty Girl Rock by Carrie Hilson is the best song from 2010. And now that song will be stuck in my head for, I don't know, 2 weeks. I forget that song exists. Then it comes up on my Spotify and then it's stuck there forever. So thank you, 234. Thank you for that. You guys ready to get into some hypothetically?
Also, what up, 2-3? I don't even know we shouted you out when you got in here.
What
Good
up?
morning,
Welcome
friend.
in.
Yeah, I'm ready to get into hypothetically. If
We
you
should- we
have
should-
not,
To say we did shout out 234 earlier. He had a good question for Foxwood Vin when he was in here. We see him. We see him out here. We see you, baby.
Mobby. All right, guys. If this is your first time watching us play hypothetically, game is simple. I'm going to pose a hypothetical scenario, a would you rather question, an open-ended story. And these fellas, they have to answer it. They have to respond. They can ask questions. Their only rule is that they have to overthink the hell out of their response. All right?
Check.
Very
I got
easy.
you.
You'll see as soon as we get into it. If that is confusing, here's your first prompt, guys. You are the captain of a team at the Super Bowl. Before the game, you discovered that your dog had walked on your phone and placed a $2 million bet on the coin toss. And that is all the money that you have made in your career, in your life. It's all the money you have. You have a feeling that your career will probably end after this game. How can you attempt to influence the coin toss so that you win the bet?
This is tricky. I don't have an immediate reaction. Tim, it seems like you've got an idea on how we're going to get this done. But I cannot hear Tim.
Tim's muted, or he's being a mime. If he's being a mime, he's doing an amazing job.
Keith, fix Tim.
Fix Tim, please, Keith. Thank you.
So step one in making sure this happens is having Tim's voice taken by a god or goddess. He's going to have to make some sort of deal with a god or goddess to trade his voice in exchange for the power to influence the results of 50-50 probability events. It's going to have to be specific because it's just his voice, right? Like if you wanted to get more power, like to control the outcome of events in general, you'd have to give up a lot more than his voice, but we can get it done. Right. He'd have to give up farting as well.
Right. Now, the next step, well, obviously, is that you take this magic voice goblin, right? That has now commandeered Tim's voice. And I imagine the way it works is that Tim now has the ability to go up to anybody that he speaks to and commandeer their voice. It's like a voice black hole where you can now steal the next person's voice. So that at that point, I send Tim, with his voiceless body down into the referee's locker room pregame, where Tim approaches the head referee and steals his voice, right?
And he just gives it up willingly, the ref?
Well, he doesn't give it up willingly. Once the ref says something to him, like, so the way the voice stealing obviously works with the goblin magic is that when you go to speak to somebody, like when Tim goes up to him and goes, once the ref says, what was it? I couldn't hear you. Boom. Steals your voice. So now,
oh no! Is it the phrase that does it?
It's the phrase. Once they acknowledge you, voice stolen. So now Tim has stolen the voice of the head referee for this Super Bowl game.
Does this happen accidentally sometimes too, where he's like he's just yawning and accidentally steals someone's voice?
The goblin has stolen quite a few voices that way.
And then how long does he get to keep the voice for?
Well, so that's the thing is that now he's stolen the referee's voice. And Tim, what do you do next?
So after I have the referee's voice here, I first of all I have to go whisper sweet nothings into all the players in the captain circle and just play some head games. Plus, I'm calling Mahomes for intentional grounding when it's clearly not intentional grounding.
Your voice is so deep.
So it's going to be just absolutely delicious. The kind of havoc I'm going to reap before this coin toss. Afterwards, I'm assuming if I have goblin magic to be able to steal people's voices, I'm going to try and, even if I've never done it before, you learn magic by trying, right? I'm going to whisper some sweet nothings into that coin and say, hey, I'll steal your voice, you stupid coin, if you don't land on heads.
What does the coin say to you?
The coin says
clink, 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 clink.
exactly. Or it's like when it
throws
runs two
itself.
coins together and it's just like kind of scratchy. And you're like,
And now,
heard.
now there is risk in this plan because, like you said, Tim, you're trying that on the
Yeah.
field. We don't know for sure that that's going to work. So I've got a backup plan for us in that case. You have the referee's voice, right? And this is going to require two more experts. This is where Coop and I come in. Coop, you're going to have to train Tim in the art of ventriloquism leading up to this game. Okay. You're just going to have to be able to do it. That's your responsibility. I know you already have the
Pitching or
expertise.
cat?
Just so
Ventrilo-
happens,
Is he throwing or receiving?
just so happens, just so happens that's my specialty, and I go both ways.
Dale, I'm a little bit confused about what you think ventriloquism is.
Is he the puppet or is he the
Okay,
ventriloquist?
so Jail, that's a weird question to ask whenever someone says I'm getting into ventriloquism. You don't generally ask, oh, are you planning on being the puppet or the ventriloquist?
I do both.
So
It's almost as if this game is designed to ask questions that are
maybe. But so Coop, you're gonna get Tim fully trained up in the art of ventriloquism. In the meantime, I'm going to figure out how to hack into the PA system in the stadium there in Arizona. Okay, Tim, you're going to have a word I learned yesterday, lavalier microphone attached to your jersey. Okay.
Okay.
Coop will have you trained in ventriloquism. You're going to call heads, like you just told the coin that it's going to be heads, right? But if it doesn't listen, it doesn't matter if it's on tails. Because even though the referee will say the result of the coin toss is tails into the microphone, I've cut his mic. Coop's trained you as a ventriloquist, and you are going to say the result of the coin toss is heads. And even with the camera pointed on it, you're going to say it. It is going to be fact. It's going to be authority. That's our backup plan. There will be controversy after the game, but if Magic doesn't solve it, we got the ventriloquist system hacking option.
It'll be a rule change, so it'll probably pass this. You know, like they don't have a rule for that now. So now next year they'll have one, but it'll work for you this time, right? You'll win that bet.
Right. So in summary, our collective answer is magic.
Is goblin magic?
Goblin magic.
Tim becomes a puppet.
My backup was just gonna lie or swap out the coins. So it's a two-sided coin.
Even our response that didn't rely on magic required Tim to steal a voice using goblin magic. Our backup plan still involved goblin magic.
Yeah. I got 2 days. I could learn a lot of goblin magic.
Yeah.
Instead of using magic on a far easier way to acquire $2 million, this is what we're doing.
Yeah, it's more exciting. I need the adrenaline flowing. I need the chance that it's not going to work to really get me on my game.
Also, we completely ignored the fact that someone needs to get that dog in touch with a responsible gaming hotline of some sort. If it's dropping $2 million on the coin toss, like,
why are you leaving your phone on the floor?
Or why is your dog on the counter?
Or in your pocket.
If my dog gets it right, then my dog's a genius.
Yeah, my dog just made me rich.
Tim's answer to this question is let it ride.
Let it ride, baby.
Right. So while we're on the topic, here's something I wanted to say for the coin toss, the heads or tails. Instead of betting with your bookie, where they're gonna, like, whether you pick heads or tails, there's house money where money goes to the bookie. What you really should do is just go on Lucra and bet with your buddy on there, and that way, instead of one person loses and the money goes to, you know, some corporate casino, MGM Grand or whatever, then it's either you getting the money or your buddy's getting the money, right? So somebody gets it, right? At least you or your buddy's getting it instead of the casino getting it. So
I don't know which one's worse.
Yeah. So
I'd
if you
just have that money go away,
just have it go away, or your buddy gets it. Yeah. But
yeah.
Well, and then the stipulation typically when I bet with my buddies is that, like, we're gonna make a bet because we're arguing, but then afterwards, like, we're gonna get beers anyway. So it's like that money was already spent on fun.
100%.
That's my suggestion.
Right.
If you're gonna bet on the coin toss, just find one of your buddies, go on Lucra. Hit me up on Lucra if you need somebody to bet with. Sauce McFloss. Maybe I'll take heads or tails, whatever you got going on.
We already told you it was going to be heads. So if you think we're wrong, if you challenge the magic of goblin magic, then bring it on. But do so at your own
Yeah,
risk.
we'll see who wins.
A few
Bring what? Nothing to a
That's
goblin
a
magic
goblin
fight.
wizard.
You lose.
Hey, you brought logic and probability to a goblin magic fight.
Good luck.
Long gone.
How dare you?
We got Gator in the chat. So give the ref the idea he will get into SFB 13 if he calls it right. Go Scott Fish. Use your
Just
influence.
bribe him with Scott Fish Bowl entries.
Scott Fish did come in here saying some of us don't learn magic by trying. Some of us are just born magical.
The difference
I'm born magical. I just don't know how to control it.
Plus, here's the thing that people don't realize. Scott Fish doesn't decide who gets in the Scott Fish Bowl. Your karma and aura surrounding you within this community is what gets you into Scott Fish Bowl. So don't put it on Scott Fish. Go out there, be a better person within the community. That's the way into Scott Fish Bowl, all right?
And get Goblin Magic.
And and if that doesn't work, if you're just gonna be, if you want to be a jerk and get in, then just use Goblin Magic.
Use your Goblin Magic against Scott Fish.
Or use if you're gonna be a jerk, the best way to get in is Goblin Magic, or just win one of those like 100-yard rush races. I guess it's kind of hard to weed out the jerks that way. So there's other ways in.
Dustin said, "I'm gonna miss these random questions next week."
Where are they going?
Where are you going?
Or is that a threat, Dustin?
Yeah.
Oh, what?
I'm gonna miss these random questions next week. What
Yes,
the hell?
You don't have to do it.
That was pretty ominous. Yeah, I'm telling you right now.
At least we have families, Dustin.
I'll tell you right now, it's more likely that we stop talking about football than we stop doing random questions. Like, that's what this show is based on. It's founded on. It's grounded.
He's going on vacation next week to okay, so he's not murdering us. He's going to Disney. Phew.
Murder Joey.
Oh no.
Which is fine.
Which is great. Yeah, it's so cool.
That's great.
All right, guys, let's get into our next hypothetically prompt here. Would you rather, anytime you go to sleep, Andy Reid draws a mustache on your face with permanent marker, or anytime you talk to someone, Nick Sirianni yells at you to look straight and behave. He stops as long as you look straight and behave. Otherwise, he keeps going until you look straight and behave.
It looks like Andy Reid already got Tim.
Yeah.
It's been a while on that masterpiece.
Can he draw the mustache anywhere on your face?
Well, what's he gonna with Tim? He's gonna use one of those metallic Sharpies. That way it shows up on top of the facial hair. So you'll have a metallic Sharpie line on top of your mustache.
I look like the people from Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah.
Nailed a bunch of paint.
Now, you said it's permanent marker that he draws them on with the mustache?
He does, yeah.
Permanent marker as defined by Sharpie, or permanent marker like a hypothetical permanent, like a magical, like a goblin magic.
No. Goblin. This is not a goblin marker.
Then you can get that off with the right base.
But every time you fall asleep, he does it.
Yeah,
and it takes a little. Like, I don't know if you ever tried to get permanent marker off your skin. It's kind of annoying.
Is it like per sleep? Like, so.
Yep.
My typical night, I don't fall asleep once. I fall asleep 6 times, right? Like, or I fall asleep 4 times. If it's a good night, I fall asleep twice. Like, where I'm waking up in the middle of the night. Is it every time? If I wake up at 2 a.m. to like eat a peanut butter tortilla in a like half awake state, when I go back, is he going to draw another one?
Yep, and he's going to draw something on your tortilla, your half-eaten tortilla that you didn't finish before you fell asleep.
Ooh, that would look pretty funny.
I mean,
and it for sure landed peanut butter side down.
Oh, 100%.
It stuck to my chest.
And it was like it was connected to the piece that he drew on your face. It's like all one artwork.
Dude, I dropped an English muffin during the early part of the show, and it landed peanut butter side up.
Whoa!
Is that goblin magic or what, dude?
That's heads. We figured it out.
Heads, dude. Yeah. Now I got a question on the other side. So with Nick Sirianni, is this a situation where like when he yells at me, it's in my head, or like is he actually there?
No,
so
he's
like
there.
So like if I'm hanging out with like I'm on like a date or whatever, and I don't sit up and look straight, like he's just right there on the table, like
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Can I get his autograph?
As long as you look straight while you're talking to him.
You look straight and behave, then yes.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Do they both materialize out of nowhere?
No, they're hiding all the time.
They're hiding all the time.
Yeah, constantly trying to be sneaky.
And if I catch
not always succeeding.
If I catch them hiding, can I like prevent this from happening?
Yeah, absolutely not.
Oh, it's like swipe or no swiping.
Absolutely not. They just get startled and then run away, but not very far.
Wait, now do other people see? So other people obviously see Nick Sirianni. Do other people see Andy Reid?
Yeah, they're both there.
Oh my god! Just imagine you're
They're
in
both
cla-
real people, not like
Where you fall
goblins.
asleep.
Just imagine you're in class, you're in college, you're in class, and you fall asleep. Like just accidentally fall asleep, and Andy Reid sneaks in your classroom. Like,
sorry to interrupt. Or
Coop's
you're
wondering
like
if
in a
this is-
coma.
Coop's wondering if this is like death rules. Like whenever death appears to you, only you can see death.
Yeah.
Like are Andy Reid and Nick Sirianni like in cahoots with death himself to show up as like your torturer?
If death takes the form of Andy Reid, I'm all right with it.
Oh, he's showing up with some snacks for the way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's got road trip snacks for that trip to the underworld.
You just wake up in the night and you're like, what the heck? You got marker all over yourself, and then you walk into your kitchen and Andy Reid's like from the refrigerator door.
It's like I made steak. You want one? And you're like, Andy, it's 7 a.m.
I made
Yes.
beef stroganoff. I got hungry.
Andy, it's 7 a.m. Obviously, I want steak.
It's like there's lasagna coming out in an hour. Safer.
I got the crock pot on.
That is how they cook in Kansas City, though. It's literally like, yeah, the brisket's been on for 17 hours now, so it should be done soon.
It's
That's like
17 years.
4 a.m, right? We're cooking for 17 hours, so we only have 10 things to eat before that's ready.
What were you gonna say, Tim?
I was gonna say he already ate most of the food, but there's still plenty left in his mustache.
Yeah, he's like, you want a little bit?
Yeah, here's a little nibble. I hate that.
Come take a little nibble.
It's kind of funny picturing him as like a deity, like sprinkling food down onto his followers, like a giant Andy Reid, just like feeding his people.
Tom
by
Brady's
scraping
little
his-
baby bird.
I pictured it being like a baby bird where you just eat it right out of the mustache.
And Mahomes just gets like a pool of ketchup out of one strand of hair.
He's sitting there like on the side trying to get any scraps. Hey, let me get some time.
I think I'm ready
So
to
what-
answer this one. I think I got this figured out.
You guys are ready? All right.
Yeah.
Who's
Feed
going for
me,
Coop? You go
feed
first.
me, Andy.
me
Feed
personally-
with your mustache.
I kind of knew where I was going with this. The moment you said that, it was like anytime I don't sit up straight, that happens. Is that the problem that I'm running into? Is that sure if I fall asleep,
Look straight and behave, Coop.
look straight and behave, right? It's like it's, right.
Look
It's
straight,
already,
Dad.
it's already happening because on this show I do. I have been yelled at. Producer Keith in the background is like, Coop, will you please get in the middle of your screen? And I'm just over here. I'm like. But the
He's
other
got
thing,
like his feet in the air, laying upside down.
It's under his desk. What was that? Oh,
yeah. So the problem that I would run into is that you fall asleep, sure, Andy Reid draws a mustache on you, but he's careful enough not to wake you up because he wants to finish the mustache. Like if I wake up then with like half a mustache, he's not gonna be able to finish it. If when I sleep, I'm not always sleeping like straight on my back looking forward. So if I fall asleep like on my side and then Nick Sirianni comes running in while I'm sleeping and yelling at me to look straight, like I'm never gonna be able to sleep again.
talking to someone while you sleep?
Oh, you have to be. Oh, it's anytime you're talking to somebody.
Anytime you talk to someone, Nick Sirianni
Oh.
yells at you. It's not just like 24/7.
Oh, then I'll take that. I'll take that one. Give me that. I could easily just sit up and start.
Coop thinks he's not allowed to look at his phone while pooping anymore.
Yeah.
He has to
Nick
poop
Sirianni?
very formally. He's got to sit on the toilet and just look straight ahead like this, eye contact in the mirror.
Well,
Nick Sirianni's underneath
Sirianni
the
pops.
door.
He's in the shower, just sticking his head out from behind the shower curtain.
Oftentimes,
do it.
So when you say talk,
Hey.
when you say talking to people, that doesn't apply to text messaging, does it?
It does not.
Okay, well then yeah, give me that one. Because if I'm just texting people on the toilet and he shows up and he's like, sit up straight while you're talking to someone via text, that would be a little too much. Give me the Sirianni.
Sirianni and Tommy said, do they all have to shave before he draws it? No.
Oh,
He just works it into his artwork. It's really just it's his canvas.
He gets excited every single time it's a little bit different.
I guess you
It's like
you
a
did
new challenge.
You did ask 3 people that already have mustaches. Kind of interesting.
It's true.
And I think I'm gonna let Andy Reid. I'm gonna suckle on the crumbs of Andy Reid's mustache every single time I wake up and he's drawing that mustache on me.
Whiskers of life.
Mm.
Giving
That's
you
my
the
choice.
nourishment you need from
Andy
Papa
Reid,
Reid.
if you're listening to this,
From Papa Reid.
I mean it. I'm
It's not
100%
hypothetically
serious
anymore. All right, Tim. Which side are you taking?
I'm for mostly petty reasons, I'm taking the Andy Reid side and I'm skipping the Super Bowl. I'm taking that baby.
Nice.
He's just Removing a coach from the Super Bowl.
Just to be petty. I'll take that mustache.
All right.
Would be the easy way to rig it, right? If I was going to rig the Super Bowl for money, now that I think of it, it would be easier to pick the Sirianni one, because then I could at least stay up and watch. Like if I pick the Andy Reid one to pull him away from the Super Bowl, then I have to sleep through the game. I can miss the whole game.
Yeah, but I could watch it. I could just watch it next morning.
Or you just look at the distance in a flight from Boston to Arizona, and you fall asleep on intervals of that length of time. That way, as soon as he gets back to Arizona, you fall. Damn it! I gotta fly back to Boston and draw another mustache on him.
And Tim, yeah, of course you could watch the game the next day, but if you're not awake and tweeting during the game, did you even watch it?
I don't know.
If you're not fighting with fans of both teams on Twitter by the end of that game, did you really watch the Super Bowl?
I don't know. I'm just gonna visit Philly right after. I'm sure it's gonna be burnt to the ground either way. So.
If you're not actively battling DeMar Hamlin conspiracy theorists on Twitter, are you even involved in Super Bowl weekend?
We got Charles in the chat said, I'll take the Andy Reid side. Gator said, kiss the ring, Coop. It would be hamburgers.
I don't know if those two.
Kiss the hamburger. Kiss the hamburger.
Kiss the hamburgers, Coop. That's why I want the Eagles to win. I'm tired of having to kiss the hamburger. I'm tired of having to kiss the hamburger.
Every job interview he makes you. He's just got one sitting on his desk, and he's like, "Go ahead, go ahead, kiss it,
kiss
a little smooch."
I'm imagining royalty like a queen, like kiss my ring, and then after they kiss it, she looks at you and goes, "It's a hamburger."
I can see that.
I fooled you. That is not a ring. That is a hamburger.
You just see Travis Kelce and Mahomes are like, kiss the hamburger. Just kiss it. Just do it.
We need FYF shirts that are Andy Reid sitting on this throne with like a crooked crown on, and it just says
Thanos.
Yes. And it just says "kiss the hamburgers" on it.
Yes. He's holding on his hand with a ring on it that is a burger.
Yeah. I am holding his hand, and in his hand there's a hamburger, but he's holding it out like this. Kiss the hamburger.
As soon as this show ends, I'm going to send a message to our designers to draw that up.
Kiss the hamburger. Chiefs fans would definitely buy that, dude. The kiss the hamburger shirt.
I think everyone. I can't think of a single demographic that wouldn't purchase that shirt.
Do you think lightning is coming out of his eyes while he's in the background, or just like grease from the burger?
I think lightning's going into his eyes.
Thunderclouds outside.
He's absorbing it.
Make sure you add that note. Like, look, there's a lot of lightning on the shirt.
Oh yeah.
As he does that, they start all of a sudden you hear over the Super Bowl arena PA, Whopper, 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 Whopper. And Andy Reid starts growing power.
You ruined it.
Whopper, Whopper, Whopper.
Ugh.
On that note, guys, that is going to be it for us today. If the Andy Reid Whopper apocalypse happens during the Super Bowl, just remember you heard it here first. The Whoppocalypse. That is going to be it for us today, everybody. Enjoy your Super Bowl and enjoy your entire weekend. We will be back on Monday from 7 to 10 a.m. Eastern time and every single day, Monday through Friday, for some more Front Yard Fantasy morning show fun. Until then, though, we are out of here. Set your shrines to Andy Reid tonight, and we will see you guys Monday morning. Enjoy the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl.